What's up, everybody, and welcome to the WildCats Live. Thank you for joining us for this watch-along for the Fulham versus Manchester United game. As you can tell, we are missing a regular part of the streams. Nim has taken a well-deserved break, so if Nim joins in the chat, I'm sure you can say hello, and I'm sure she'll answer some questions if she does join, but if she doesn't, you've just got us three, unfortunately, which is, of course, me, FPL TV Brett, and Kirkjoy. And we all have Bruno Fernandes, so we're hoping for some goals from him. Unfortunately, 2 of us have had Rashford in our side and have found out that he's benched, so not the greatest of starts of stream. But before we just watch along and answer any questions you have in the chat, please do make sure to like the stream, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and make sure to get those questions in the chat, because we've only had 1 question on Twitter, which we will get to. I'm sure Nuclear Atoms will join the chat at some point, hopefully. If he doesn't, then we just won't answer the question, it's fine. But anyway, guys, how has your game week been going? We'll start off with Brett, because I know Brett has a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's been a fantastic game week for me. Sort of season defining, really. This has really turned my season around. So I started the game week at around 770k. And even that was my highest rank of the season so far, 770k, not great, but it was my highest of the season. Now I'm sat at 270k. So I've risen 500,000 places. I'm on 121 points as things stand. I wildcarded last week, so I brought in the double Man City defense in Diaz and Stones, 2 clean sheets apiece, an assist from Diaz, 2 goals from Stones, just complete lucky dreamland kind of scores, could never have, for Diaz to assist a John Stones goal.
The perfect goal from 2 centre-backs. Who would have thought it?
And if Diaz had scored, then it would have been De Bruyne's assist from a cat. The whole thing was just utterly perfect. It couldn't have gone better. And I was just watching my live rank just fly up, and incredible. I wildcarded in Antonio last week as well, and he did the business. 2 goals in the 2 games. Kufal as well got an assist yesterday and a clean sheet in the first game. So yeah, just so many players getting lots of points. So I'm on 121, I think, and I've got Rashford, Bruno, Callum Wilson on the bench boost, still 1 game left. So don't know if I'll get much from
Still
him.
Hopeful.
Yeah, you never know against Villa.
With the way you're going, potentially this could be the time that Wilson actually returns for you.
For sure, mate. And in that one, I've got Martinez in goal. So I feel like either Martinez keeps the clean sheet, more likely, or if Newcastle score, chances are it'd be Wilson involved. So hopefully there's a points either side there. So yeah, Martinez, Wilson, and then Rashford, Fernandes tonight. So yeah, it's just unbelievable game week, and hopefully I can keep pushing on now because I feel much better.
Now, as much as I hate to say it, you're the top ranked Wildcat as well. I've lost my position for a bit.
It's been a long time, mate. I finished last season. I was by far the worst, I think. So it's been a long time coming, mate. I'm happy to finally be on top, but it goes to show it won't last long.
Just how quickly it can all change in FPL. Just one really good game week.
Yeah, I think I was the lowest Wildcat before this game week, possibly. Oh, no, I think Nim was behind me, but not far. She wasn't far. And now I've just shot to the top in 1 week. Mental.
So now we get to...
Is that why Nim's not here?
Nim's just
Presence of me now.
Am I last now?
Don't care. Season's over. He was ranked 7 billion at one point. Now he's above me. There's no point.
Brett's got everything right in 1 game week. I just don't understand this season anymore. That's what it is. But some more...
Oh, my God. I think Fulham have just scored.
Please tell me it's not one of my Fulham players on the bench.
I've not a clue because I'm going to turn on alerts for Fulham.
Okay.
On Bet365. I'm going to watch it on BT Sports about 30 seconds behind, so bear with me.
I'm on Virgin, but of course their Virgin Go is behind, most likely.
Yeah, I'll watch it on the phone apps.
Maybe. Yep, 1-0. 1-0 Fulham. Lookman.
Ooh,
so anyone with Man United defence, not ideal. But to be honest, that's great for me because I have no Man United defence.
Same, and I was feeling bad about going for Roman Saiss over Wan-Bissaka.
I did that on my free hit and regretted it, but of course that was free hit, so it doesn't affect me.
Especially when Maguire scored against Burnley, and I was thinking, oh no, but luckily he was offside. So
yeah, he's on. I mean, some of you watching it on TV will be ahead of us, but they are checking it. But I think he's
good.
I hope
it stands.
Good to me. I hope it stands. More chance of Rashford being needed later as well, I hope.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
The longer it stands.
They need goals.
Yeah, Lookman's been a decent...
Who assisted, though? Because if it's...
Who have you got, Anguissa?
Yeah, then I won't be happy.
I have no idea about where It was a dinking from midfield. So who's
I'm assuming
in midfield?
it's standing. I'm assuming it's standing because
it looks
they've not shown any
It
the
plays
VAR
restarted on
lines.
Bet365,
Yeah.
so it's all good.
Yeah, it's plays restarted. It's all
No
good.
idea who dinked it over. And I was going to just say it was a... Yeah, can't say that on stream. Crucified.
It's Anguissa.
Oh, he's
is it
Anguissa.
really? I was
And
gonna
there's
say,
no way he's coming on because everyone that's played has played. So,
I really like Anguissa. This season
Same.
I've watched him and he's really a classy player.
if it wasn't for Smith Rowe, Anguissa would probably just stay on the side because he always has the possibility of an assist and a goal. And I'd say 4.5 wise, it's either Basuma, Anguissa, or Smith Rowe now. Those are literally the best budget options I think you can get right now, 4.5 million. Apart from some defenders, maybe. But...
Definitely.
Anyway.
I'm gonna try and find a stream myself. I'm going to be a few minutes behind live, but at least I can watch it to see who scores,
at least see what the action that happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kurt, how has your game week been going? Let's be a bit more realistic now, not these 100+ scores.
Oh, I'm on 79 at the moment, so we're getting there. Slowly but surely. The clean sheet for Diaz is a nice little thing, and looking at it, he's not in bonus points, so he actually
he's got
joined
one. He's got
I
one,
think
mate.
he's got one, yeah.
But that'll probably change, and I don't know, Kevin De Bruyne will go from about 5 to about 55, so he'll get 3 bonus points and ruin it.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
Oh, Kevin De
Never
Bruyne
know.
taken off, then there's a penalty. Then to rub it in, it's Gundogan that takes it. I owned
By the
all
way,
the Man City
when it-
players at the wrong time.
When it comes to half time, I'm going to have to go because I don't want to sit in here when Ray comes in and says, "Hey, what did I say about Gundogan?" No, not the time, Ray.
Well,
I'm
no,
trying to be
I completely agreed with him, which is why I got him on my free hit side and he did nothing. And I'm like, well, I have issues I need to solve in this side. So I did not bring in Gundogan. I brought in Antonio, so I can't complain too much about that.
Yeah.
And I did take Son out for KDB, which I think just about worked, but it probably wasn't worth a -4. But yeah, anyway, sorry, Kurt. You were saying how you did so far this week.
Yeah, 79 points at the moment. It could be a lot better. Let's be honest, it could be a lot worse as well. I mean, at the moment, with Rashford bench doesn't look too good. The only players I've got to play are currently Fernandes and Rashford, maybe, and also Martinez and Watkins whenever they play next. Saturday, I think, and Salah again, sorry. So 79 is not too bad.
No, it's
I
not.
got a captaincy gamble slightly corrective Cresswell. I thought it looks like 2 clean sheets, and you only, if I didn't captain him, guarantee you there was 3 Souček back post headers, all 3 assisted by Cresswell, that would have happened. So I'm glad I stopped them for any other people that own them. But no, 79. But like, I've had worse hits. I've had worse wild cards. I've had worse chips used. I mean, people that triple captained Kevin De Bruyne, all I can do is sit there and have a bit of sympathy, but then also get the cut out inside of me and laugh at their face. But hopefully, Fulham scoring an early goal means that Rashford comes on for Cavani a couple of minutes and he scores 17 goals. Fernandes assists 19 of them, and I get into the 100 club. But it's looking very unlikely. So it's a low score, but it's above the average. So I can't have too many complaints.
Did you use a chip this week, Kurt?
Yeah, bench boost.
Okay.
The only player who didn't play on my bench is Miyazek. I've still got that cheap goalkeeper.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could have done without it because I'm looking at a lot of 2. I mean, looking at Brewster 1, Ayling 1, Dyer 2. Probably could have just...
Possible shout for a penalty here. I could be far behind, you know.
I don't know.
think he's been
I'm
given.
assuming the play's carried on.
What time are you guys on at the moment?
10 minutes, 10 seconds.
Yeah, my Bet365 is a minute ahead of me and it's playing on at the moment, so...
Okay, I'm only 10 seconds behind Jay on this stream, so it's not too bad.
That's not bad.
It looked like that could have been a penalty. I haven't seen it more than once, but it looked like there's a bit of contact.
Pogba's been booked as well for anyone that has him.
Yeah, no penalty anyway.
I did
Free
think
kick
about
for
Pogba, to be fair, but that was again last week, not this week. But yeah, as far as me, I'm not doing as well as the boys, but 68 points with a -4 down to 64, but I've got no chips in play. Depending on how Anguissa does in this game, we'll see what I think about that. But also Robinson's on my bench, and he did get the -2, I believe. So
Yeah.
I've managed to escape that, but the Anguissa assist definitely hurts a little bit. Do have Grealish, so if he does do anything mad against Newcastle, then we could be looking at the game week rescued a bit.
True.
But it's not terrible considering I've not played anything. So I guess in a way, the only thing that I could have done which would have improved my game week is the wild card. And I reckon if I had played the wild card, then I'd probably be looking at about the 100 points mark. But that is, of course, assuming I would have gone Stones just because of the price.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have gone DS. So it's slightly annoying, but I suppose a lot of that is to do with the fact that we're in the Content Creators League. So I'm looking at everyone else's score and just thinking I could have had a score like that.
That's probably my biggest issue a lot. It's like the last 2 years because of that Content Creators League. Obviously, this week's different because I've had a very good week. But normally, I have a decent week. I think, 60, 65. I go in that league, 80, 85, 90. I'm like, I can never make ground in this league. I just cannot go anywhere, This is the first week where I've really shot up. I've been in 35 for ages, the 35th position.
The thing is, I don't think I've actually moved that much. I'm down to 25. I think I was around 19th. So that kind of suggests
Anguissa book, Jay.
Okay, yeah, good. Get him sent off. Lower that score down. But yeah, I suppose in the bigger picture, I now have the chips that some people have played. Because if I look, a lot of people played their bench boost. A lot of people have played the wild card. A lot of people have played triple captain. And the main reason I didn't, and I'll see if I stand by this in the future when the double game weeks come later on in the season. But I was just thinking, I was worried about postponements. I was worried about more players being ruled out for various issues.
Yeah.
So I was thinking this double game week could be terrible.
Yeah.
So I was thinking later on down the line, when the weather's a bit better, more of these vaccinations have been rolled out, potentially everything's a bit more secure, and I could play it later and get more points than some people get now. Some people have got a lot of points, so I doubt I'm going to get more than they got. But we'll see. Hopefully in 2 or 3 months' time, I'll be sitting here very happy that I kept it. But it's a bit gutting looking at Content Creators League. And especially with that goal, that first Man City goal, I thought it was offside. Now, listening to the refs go back over it, they've said the first goal wasn't offside. So, fair enough. And then a penalty just was ouch. When I was looking at Martinez clean sheet, I was quite happy with that. But it is what it is. That's why I've got some alcohol.
Were you close to playing the wild card, Jay? Or?
I was close. I was very close. Because I was thinking that hopefully the double game week later on down the line, and I suppose we can get to Nuclear Atom's question. He is now in the chat. Nuclear Atoms did ask, and let me just bring it up. I'm not as prepared as someone like Nim, who has it all written down already for her. But if I go to the tweet, when is the best time to use the second wild card? Please don't say, well, it depends on your team, because it's a lazy answer. Which, of course, I did reply going, but it does depend on your team. For me, the reason I haven't played my wild card is because I do believe the best time to play your wild card is to bench boost for the next double game week. Now, with hindsight, with this game week and how it's gone for a lot of people, that's probably not the right answer anymore. But I just felt like I've already explained, it would be more secure a double game week, and potentially a bench boost would be more beneficial.
So when is the next double?
The rumour is it would be double game week 26.
And is it blank 29?
Yes.
Is that right?
At least that's what I've seen on Twitter. That's the suggestion. So I would probably wildcard 426, trying to bring in players that still play in 29, and then use transfers from 26 to 29 to be able to actually fill the side. Because this one, basically my thought process was a free hit followed by a double game week, or a blank game week followed by a double. That's a very short window to do anything. Whereas double game week 26, blank game week 29, that's got a window where you could do stuff.
A couple of transfers. Got a quick question for you, Jay. I don't know if you noticed this. Maybe there's a really obvious answer, okay? But if you go to the fixtures on the FPL website.
Yes.
If you go to game week 33, there's a blank fixture in 33. And I don't...
Carabao Cup? I think the Carabao Cup's later this year.
So I think it's City. City blank in 33.
A City in the Carabao Cup final? I think they are. So I'm hoping I'm right.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, I know it sounds bad, but the problem is because I just focus so much on FPL and Premier League, like I do forget
I'm not
about the
going to
cup
lie,
sometimes.
especially with this season, the way this season has gone, as soon as there's no Premier League, I take some time off. Like, recuperate,
I haven't been watching the
reset.
FA Cup. I haven't been watching
I've not
the
watched it, yeah,
League
exactly.
Cup. It's bad, I know, but yeah, for the same.
I literally
So
just look for any updates to see if I should be worried about players playing in the Premier League. Anyway, any thoughts, guys, on best time to play wildcard? Or would you just generally agree with me? Because that would be probably
just quickly,
safe
Jay, to confirm you are right. It's the final. It's
Cool.
Spurs Man City. So yeah, they both blank in 33.
Is it them playing each other in 33? So that's quite handy.
How many games are there in?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there's 2 fixtures missing.
Okay, so whoever they're playing also have a blank. So 4 teams with a blank in 33.
Okay, so that would be either Villa or Fulham. So it's
Fulham are blanking, Villa are playing West Brom.
Yeah, it's Fulham, Spurs, and then City and Southampton.
Okay.
Okay, so this is why City are going to have so many doubles, I guess, because yeah, they blank in that one as well. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jay. Of course, it was the same situation for me. This is why I know it was so early to wildcard last week in game week 18. But when I considered wildcarding, I always think about the bench boost the week after, because that's the most convenient time to not withhold all this value on the bench. You get a chance to have a second goalkeeper. You don't have to waste transfers on it. You get the bench ready. You can distribute the funds around the squad for the wild card and then have a suitable bench for the bench boost. So that's what I was thinking. And you know what? I was like, I just want to get the bench boost out of the way in a way. I looked at the doubles. I knew there was always going to be a risk with like the postponements and whatever. And I did get hit a little bit in the first game with West Brom because I had Johnston as part of my wild card. Bench boosted and he was out for, we know why. But yeah, I knew it was a risk, but I was still keen just get the bench boost out of the way, because I don't want to, if I wildcarded in 18 and then went into game week 19 and decided, you know what, I'm not going to bench boost, then I've got a very strong squad of 15, which is all right, but it's like so much value to keep holding on the bench. I thought, you know what, I'll get it out of the way now, hopefully get some decent points from these doubles, and then I can start extracting that value back into my starting 11. And for the rest of the season, okay, I'll keep a strong bench in terms of the 12th man or 13th man. But I didn't want like De Gea and Leno as 2 keepers that I have to fix later on. Or, I just thought, just get out of the way, have one playing keeper. Yeah, that was the sort of thinking, really. So yeah, of course you need to consider the doubles and blanks and the bench and chips as well to kind of go with the wild card. But it does as well. It's not such an exact science, So I wanted to contribute the bench boost with my thinking, but at the same time in 18 was the blank game week. Lots of people were using the free hit, so I considered that too, but I didn't like the team that was coming back for 19 in general. I didn't like my team. So I know Nuclear doesn't want to hear the answer, it depends on your team, but it's how, if there's a big fixture swing, I only had John Stones, I didn't have De Bruyne, didn't have Diaz. I looked at City's fixtures and I was like, you know what? If I free hit now, I'm going to lose 2 free transfers. I'm only going to have 1 to go into game week 19. I don't like the team that I'm getting back. I had Calvert-Lewin injured. I didn't like the format of my team, how it was set up. And at that point, I just felt comfortable because City and United. Oh, really? Who scored, Kurt?
I've no idea. It just popped up on all of Bet365.
Nice.
So I will...
Yeah, Bet365 is always way ahead of anything else.
That's why I turn on notifications and I use it. Nothing to do with prizes, just because I can get up to date.
I'm just watching now.
It's
Fred Fernandez got. Oh no, he's hit the post.
I was going to say you're ahead of me, but I'm ahead of you, and that hit the post. Cavani is the goal scorer from what I can see.
Okay. Look, Cavani's done his job. He's got his goal. Time to get Rashford on and seal the deal.
Fernandez crosses it. And
I don't think they'll give Fernandez the assist
for
that.
They won't, because it's not a shot.
Yeah, it's a cross. The goalkeeper gets it, parries it out, I believe that
FPL
was
assist rules make so much sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did give him the assist. But,
Why not? They make up their own bloody rules of the assists anyway. It's bloody ludicrous.
Just some quick responses to the chat. Where's Nim? I saw asked in the chat at some point. We did say at the beginning, but she's taking a well-deserved break. So it's just us three, unfortunately. Ray is joining us at half-time, so we will be taking an intermission, so I can just sort everything out with Ray and get him into the second half. He's just finishing off
his rooftop bus tour of I said Gundogan was a great pick for a free hit. He's currently in Coventry. He's almost home. Now, no idea where he lives, but apparently Coventry's close.
Well, I thought Gundogan was a great pick for a free hit, but I free hit in 18, so he wasn't great. The funny thing is, if I'd known the Leeds-Southampton game wasn't going to happen, I would have either played my wild card if I knew after game week 18, or I might have free hit for 19, just to pick a side purely for 19. If I'd known that Southampton Leeds game was going to be changed. Yeah. So that I think that's a one big downfall for me. Bruno Fernandes almost scored there, to be fair, from outside the box. So he's looking dangerous, Fernandes, which is promising. Although the problem is, I'm assuming everyone around me has Fernandes. So if he scores, it's probably pretty irrelevant.
I think the official account's still yet to tweet. They're thinking about this.
They're thinking about it. Great.
they know that when it's a big player like Fernandes, if they don't give the assist now, which they probably won't, and they probably shouldn't, but the amount of comments like robbed, Fernandes robbed.
I turned off the stream, but what happened? Can you describe it to me?
So Fernandes was out on the left. He put in a cross from very wide, a low cross. The keeper has parried it, saved it towards Cavani, who's put in the rebound, basically.
Was the cross directed towards Cavani?
You could say it was, to be fair.
Because
but
I've seen debates on this before, and people have brought it up, and the official FPL have responded by saying if a cross is intended direction is towards that player, the keeper gets a little slight touch on it, or the defender gets in the way of it, and that player's end up scoring. They give it as an assist. But if let's say he's crosses the front post, it's taken a flick off a defender, gone to the player at the back post, and they've scored it, then their rules, by their tweeting a few years ago, or whenever it was, say it's not an assist. However, just to point out, sorry, if you want to be friends with FPL, their assist rules stink. They make them up as they go along. They're rubbish. So they'll give this. If they look at the room and think, right, there's 5 of us in the office at the moment. Who owns Fernandes? 4 versus 1. It's an assist.
It's very
That's interesting, though.
They haven't
if there's
tweeted
4
it yet.
or 5 people that decide and they all play, then surely that's a conflict of interest.
This is the longest I've seen them not tweet a goal, because normally they put TBC. They have not tweeted still.
So the thing is, if it's going off of Kurt's description of what they tweeted, I would argue that it was intended for because it was intended for the 6-yard box. And Cavani was the only one in the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that sometimes you just put it in a dangerous area and hope your player's there. When you know someone like Cavani's on your side, you put it there and think he could be there. Like, which I see a lot of times happen with sides without. Take Man City, for example. Without Aguero and Jesus, often they put the ball into a dangerous area, but there's just no one there to put it away because no one in that side has that striker instinct. So I would argue that sometimes players just put it in a dangerous area, hoping someone's there. So in that case, is it just the area that's intended? And then if someone's in that area, it's an assist.
They finally tweeted TBC.
Okay.
They're
undecided. They're arguing about it.
Come on.
I reckon there's 6 people in the office. 3 have Fernandes, 3 don't.
There's already 1,000 comments within 1 minute. Mental.
I own Bruno Fernandes. I would much prefer it if they stuck to their own rules and said no assist. Because if they put an assist there, quite clearly it's, he's owned by a lot of people, so appease the masses and say,
their ruling was, that is an assist, isn't it?
Did any of you see the Harvey Barnes assist yesterday?
Oh,
I
yes.
Seen it yet.
That is one of the most bogus
That's not the
assists.
intended target. That is not the intended target.
I was shocked. I was shocked they gave that, actually.
In fact, if they give that, they have to give Bruno Fernandes, surely.
Yeah.
If that's the benchmark,
yeah,
you can always argue that, okay, you're saying that wasn't the intended target, Harvey Barnes. That's all anyone has to say from now on is just Harvey Barnes. You gave that assist.
Yeah, but it won't work. People have brought up the fact that the FPL rules, they'll go against it on a weekly basis. It matters none. Honestly, I can't say enough. They make up their own rules as they go along.
Luke says Twitter isn't happy.
No.
Why are they not happy? Because it hasn't gone to Fernandes.
Well, the problem is the Barnes. They've just given a Barnes assist. Literally yesterday. You cannot say Bruno Fernandes' ball then is less of an assist than Harvey Barnes.
I'll give you my honest opinion as a Bruno Fernandes owner.
Yeah, people are saying in the chat, in the comments, of the tweet about Chilwell not getting one, because I think there was a very similar situation with Chilwell.
I have to admit, it is a difficult one because it isn't going towards Cavani, but it is directed or is tried to hit Cavani. But it's Cavani. If that's going all the way through, Cavani's not getting anywhere near that.
Yeah.
The bloke on the front post, whoever that is getting near that.
But that's Cavani the issue with intended target is like, you might just not play the ball how you intended to play it because you kick it wrong. Like, intended just leaves too much to interpretation. I would personally prefer it, and it would cost me a lot of points this season and a lot of points in general, but it would cost everyone else the same, is if it's not an assist in real terms, it's not an assist. Like, you get an assist for winning the penalty, but not taking it. But it's not counted as an assist in real life. I'd prefer it if they just went to that. If it's an assist, it's an assist. If anyone gets involved before it's assisted, it's not an assist.
Yeah.
And then it's crystal clear. It would change the game because a lot of players would then not get as many assists as they do get, and you'd just be like...
Players like Zaha and Grealish that are fouled 37 times a second. Still no assist on the FPL game.
See, now, if this wasn't Fernandes, if this was if this was Anguissa or something, they would have made a decision quickly. Like, they
no,
did
in FPL, if
McGinn.
it was Anguissa, they'd been like, yes, it's an assist. And I'd be like,
with McGinn last season, I'm telling you, McGinn crossed the ball and another player headed it, but it didn't change the direction at all, right? It was an opposing player touched their head. The movement of the ball didn't change. They didn't give the assist for that. I had McGinn in mind. I'll never forget that. Like,
I remember
because it was McGinn. They didn't even.
I feel like McGinn had a lot of assists that weren't given that I've seen a lot worse given. But let's not talk about McGinn for too long because I don't like him right now. Not after that Man City game.
Anyways, on to Nuclear's question. To give him a decent answer, it depends on your team.
Do you know what? Sometimes I think Nuclear asks us questions where he knows we're going to give certain answers and then says, don't give this answer.
Well, he did put the comment at FPL TV. What do you mean when you're not focused on FPL? I know Kurt streams games. I'm not asking JNO because unlike us, he's married.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit harsh.
So he has a life. I thought, bloody hell, what are you telling me?
Let me just clarify something right now.
Has no life.
Let me clarify something right now. When you have a kid, it's the opposite. You don't have a life. Do you know how many times my mates have texted me and gone, we're going out. Do you want to come? Can't.
Whoa. We're in lockdown, buddy.
That's true.
What are your friends doing?
By the way,
we've been locked down for about a year. Whoa.
I've had a daughter for 5 years. So let's put it into perspective here.
Daddy loves you very much.
They don't watch this. They only watch if I play Minecraft with you guys. Then they'll watch. Then I have to be careful with what I say.
So what did Nuclear ask to me? Is it in the chat?
He says, why have you got a life?
What do you do when you're not focusing on FPL?
Why haven't I got a life? I ask myself that question every day, mate. I don't know.
To be honest, I'd take his subscribers and not have the life.
I forgot to say, for every goal that's scored in this game, I'd do a shot. I forgot for the first two, so...
you should have told me. I'd have done a shot, but I've been drinking anyway because of that Man
Will you
City
do
game.
one if Fernandes gets the assist?
I think I'd have to
down
do a
the
shot
bottle
for
if
that
Fernandes gets the bloody assist.
Oh,
down
God.
the pitching
Here we go.
bottle.
See, Nim's not here, and it all goes to
Nim's not here, and I've turned up in a drunken mess.
Nim's fortunately missed this whole FPL Towers.
She runs a tight ship.
Fernandes assist nonsense because she'd be like, "Shush, stop saying bad stuff about FPL."
Nim keeps me in check. These two don't.
Because I like
Let
it
me
when you're
run
not in check,
wild.
to be fair.
Nim's like the parent that loves you dearly, and you love dearly as well. But you want to go to your grandparents where you can get away with a lot more. And you two are effectively my grandparents because I get away with so much more when Nim's not here. But if Mummy Nim's here, then
Focus has just said you do have a life with kids, but your daughter owns it. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, hell, to sum up that point as well, just about not having a life, why isn't Ray joining the stream at the moment? Because he's got kids.
Exactly.
In other words,
That's true.
Don't have kids, people. No. Adopt a cat.
Kids are wonderful and they're really rewarding. You'll never love until you've had a kid. That's what I'll say. But other than that, they do affect your life. Your life changes.
Still haven't announced this TBC. I wonder how many people sit in this room deciding this.
That is a good question.
I wonder how many people are they in the room? Like in a room? Is it just one person, or is
well, strictly speaking, hopefully they're working from home.
Yeah, true.
In a call or something.
But but it's not like obviously this account has a social media like manager.
Yeah.
But like, does the person who decides it then log into the Twitter, or do they have to tell?
I assume they probably have a couple of social media people because they're quite.
One
they
for
tweet a lot,
one
don't
for
they?
the scores, one for the points, maybe. Unless it's.
I feel sorry for anyone that does the scores because they're working overtime at the moment with the amount of games on. FPL Focus, let your kids choose your captain for your FPL team. To be honest, I've done okay this season, so no thanks. But
the minute Jay goes below the average, that's it. Pick me captain. I'm done with this season.
Oh, jeez. Brian Lally, kids only suck your life force from you. I mean, I do have a lot of grey hairs now.
Oh, mate, I started getting grey hairs at 21. I've got so many grey hairs now.
Oh, someone before me.
You can't see it on the camera because I shaved all of it sides off, but mate, it's just so grey. So grey.
At least you haven't been one area then, because I get them everywhere. So there's no. That's why I shave my head, to be fair, quite often. But
yeah, when FPL are making the decision, sometimes like if they grant the assist now, they won't have tweeted it yet. But FPL status, obviously, automatically, as soon as there's a change in the website, at the back end of the website, you'll see it on status first. They'll be like Fernandez assist, and I just like watching all the uproar and stuff when all this happens, you know.
So the status tweeted yet, or
no, it hasn't tweeted.
No, it's
I'm
only
refreshing. I've got status sending tweets to both my computer and my thing, nice. And I've also refreshing the page just in case it misses it. So hopefully I'll see it first and then laugh or go on a 30-hour drunken rant. One of the two.
That's a good
Still
question,
1-1, by the way.
Akib Salman says, the people decide it, do they play FPL? It's probably it could be in their contracts that they're not allowed to play. At least if they're a decision maker in points.
Yeah, surely.
Surely they can play another fantasy game.
But
they
surely
can't.
It's their assist and their sort of dubious whatever panel, whatever it may be, a goal, assist, an own goal, whatever it may be. Surely it shouldn't be that complicated that people would sit there and go, is that an assist or not?
Well, that's the issue. That's what I'm saying. Just make it a lot more simpler.
Exactly, that's what I've argued. If it takes any sort of deflection, if it's an assist in real life, I don't mind. If it's an assist in real life, go for it. I don't mind the penalties because generally that person's in a really good goal scoring chance, and that's quite clear to see if Grealish has his legs taken out from underneath him.
It was fouled. Yeah. So yeah.
Unless Grealish and let's say I don't know Ezri Konsa are running through, and they both get chopped, and the ref says, "No, just confirm for FPL.
Double assist.
Got Ezri Konsa being fouled, so that will not be an assist if this goes in from Jack Grealish. I repeat, will not be an assist in his ear. Get rid of the rest. If it's not an assist in real life or it's not a penalty assist, get rid of it." And that would remove so many like De Bruyne, Fernandez assists in my previous seasons that have helped me get good scores. Make the game a lot simpler. There shouldn't be decisions like this. Dubious goals panel should be the only thing that's needed, and that's needed for obvious reasons. Anyway, I'm done. Yeah. I've got a shot to do.
Anyway, Ray is in the chat, so if Ray wants to get involved in any of the questions, feel free. Ray, I will add you at half-time just because it's so much easier than adding you right now. Although I like how Focus was like, yeah, get him in there. Right? Yeah, so I reckon it's better if I do it at half-time because then I've got a bit of time.
Not only has he said Gundogan, he's probably brought Gundogan in. Bloody Arsenal winning now. I have to admit, I wish they
I
were
like how Arsenal were winning,
and
then I had Arsenal players, they didn't win, and then I don't have them, and they're winning again.
The positive
news, scoring.
Yeah, the positive news, my £5 bet on Aubameyang being top goal scorer, as I said, will not lose me any money this season. Could actually be coming back to get me some money if he keeps on scoring 2 goals a game.
I mean, you've only got 1 game to go by there. So.
They've probably got 3. I don't know. Arsenal been utter.
You should check if you could cash out now.
I can't. I've already checked.
Okay.
One of them I could cash out like 43p.
Anguissa has just played Lookman through again. Oh, Anguissa's looking dangerous. It's looking more dangerous than some of the players I own.
Oh yeah, nice pass.
Yeah, that was a decent pass.
Oh, Cavallero.
Still no assist.
Well, he's already got 1. He's already matched Kevin De Bruyne with 1 assist. I could have had Anguissa, Smith Rowe, Saka, and been better off than having Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, Christ.
And Son almost matched Kevin De Bruyne, so with 1 game, so I could have used my transfer somewhere else, brought in a Stones, and I'd be laughing without playing anything. But let's not focus on what I could have done, because that will get me depressed.
Definitely. That's one thing I haven't done much this season is think back what I could have or should have done.
Well, I would have made the decision either way. Kevin De Bruyne with 2 games over Son with 1 game. And the only way I could feasibly get to Kevin De Bruyne without using -12 and only using a -4 was Son. So, and I had to fix...
Did you sell Son this week? Did you?
Yeah, I sold Son to get De Bruyne because I had Calvert-Lewin and I had to change Calvert-Lewin for Antonio.
Yeah. Oh, that worked out well then.
So that worked out well. So I would have made the transfers no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting that I could have done that, but no one would have probably predicted that Stones would have done as well as he did. So,
do we know the situation on De Bruyne from today? Obviously, going off early,
he's broken his leg.
But
the problem is, I really hope it isn't serious because I feel like if it is, that makes the midfield of everyone very predictable. Because right now you have De Bruyne, Salah, Son, Fernandes.
Yeah.
You can either try and fit all 4 in your team and then not have a premium forward, or you can have 3 and try and get premium players elsewhere.
That's true.
So I feel like as soon as one of those is out, everyone will own the other 3.
Yeah.
So part of me hopes it doesn't happen. I mean, it's one less thing you have to think about, but
there's a bit of time now, isn't there, before the next game at least? It's like a week before they play next.
I mean, Aston Villa's still a big game for me. They play on Tuesday.
I mean, for De Bruyne.
Oh, for De Bruyne, I believe so. Yeah.
So they play. So Wednesday's today, and then Tuesday. So they've got 6 days until the next game. So it's a bit of time, at least. If it was 3 days away, I think, oh, no chance. But you never know. I guess he was due a rest anyway, though, so maybe they won't risk him against West Brom. Would be a shame.
The thing with De Bruyne is you never know if he's going to play up front or if he's going to play a bit deeper. Today, he played a bit deeper, even though at the beginning of the game, they said he was going to play up front.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of it depends on Foden, because I think if Foden's playing, I think they're a little bit happy to have De Bruyne sit a bit deeper. Just because when Foden does play, and I don't know why he doesn't play all the time, but it just seems a bit more dangerous compared to some of the other players they have further forward. Although, to be fair, Bernardo Silva scored a great goal. Not happy with the goal, but Bernardo Silva still scored a great goal.
Yeah, Maddison with 3 goals in 3 now. Could be a potential downgrade if De Bruyne is out.
Maddison is one of those I always worry when I bring him in, he won't do well.
I know. Because he's not explosive, so you kind of think he can't keep this up, surely, you know?
But the thing is, we've got to think he's trying to get into that England side. as long as everything's
we've got two
Great
examples there of I say similar, are in similar standard. They're not. They're obviously a bit class above, but you've got Bruno Fernandes. Surely he can't keep on doing that. Quite clearly, he is world class. James Rodriguez, who start of season, surely he can't keep on doing that. Quite clearly, no, he has literally just stopped playing. He barely plays anymore, I don't think. I looked at his minutes played, and I don't know if he's injured, but he's been dropped. He's not playing the full 90.
Yeah, bit of both. Yeah, he was out injured for a bit, but he.
So it could be either. It could be either. And you have got the Euros coming up, so there's an extra motivation. And it's not as if we are a team now where you look at the past England, at least the last sort of 5-6 years, and you think, you know what's going to happen? Rooney up top. You're going to have Sterling somewhere around it. Daniel Sturridge, who's going to end up in the team somehow, despite not playing. And then now you've got so many good young players. Madison is going to be fighting with Grealish for that spot. Henderson's playing well midfield. Declan Rice playing well midfield.
Mount as well, Mason Mount.
Mason Mount's playing well
Barkley
midfield.
before he got injured.
Barkley could be an outside shout as well, yeah. I mean, there's so many good players as well up front. You've got Kane, you've got Calvert-Lewin, you've got Sancho, you've got Sterling, Rashford. There's a lot of competition for places, so you can't really walk into the team anymore. You've got to fight for it because we are such a strong nation.
They said in the Man City game, the commentary team, that Dean Smith apparently said to Barkley, I'm going to help you get into that England side. So with that kind of information, you know people are playing for their spots in an international tournament. There's a big part of me that's thinking, do I need Kevin De Bruyne when there's going to be hungrier players and Man City can score without him? Do I need Salah, who is going to get in that Egypt side no matter what tournament's coming up? When you've got hungry players, like, say, Maddison, that have to earn that spot. And to be honest, it's the type of season where I'm like, you know what, it could be the mad kind of move that could work. And I just when there's a template, I don't like to play the template. And it feels like there's a template. You either have Kane or Vardy up top, although Vardy's not performing right now. And then you have 3 of those 4 or 4 of those 4 midfielders. And I hate looking at my side and going, I'm just playing what everyone else is playing.
Yeah, I think that's another problem sometimes with being on Twitter so much, is that you see everyone else's team the same as yours and it makes it feel boring. But if you didn't see anyone else's team, maybe you wouldn't feel that way, you know?
What doesn't help is livefpl.net saying your team is this much template.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I wish it never showed me that.
Yeah. But yeah, look at De Bruyne. I mean, City's next 3, West Brom, Sheffield United, Burnley, you know. So nice. Those
Don't get me wrong, De Bruyne's a great option, but anybody on that side can get the goal or get the assist. Like we've just got off of a double game.
You're a big
week.
advocate, that aren't you? You're such a big advocate of finding.
Yeah, but I still have Kevin De Bruyne, don't I? But I do feel like, but then again, if you've gone with that thought process, Vardy is a great option, but then he's done nothing recently. But yeah, apparently Bruno assist. Apparently, from what I've seen in the chat.
Okay, let's have a little.
I don't know if that's
4 minutes.
I don't know if that's just happened in the game or if that's happened as in
in the game.
They've awarded it. Maybe they've awarded it.
Maybe
it's not on the FPL website. I've just refreshed. It's not on there, and there's no assist and there's no other goals in the game. So someone's perhaps been a troll. Because it's not assisted in the unless it's on mobile, maybe not on PC. But I've refreshed my page a few times. It's not there.
Fair enough. Thanks, Jones bloke.
If we want to be more upbeat, talk about people that are in worse positions than us, and try and make us think like, you know what, it's bad, but it could be worse. Frank Lampard. He has had a shocking time in the Premier League, hasn't he?
I was going to start on my other channel an Football Manager series where I was going to be Arsenal. Be like, can I do it better than Arteta? Because Arsenal are rubbish. As soon as I decided to do that, Arsenal was doing well and Chelsea doing rubbish. And I'm like, well, I could have done Chelsea and it'd be more relevant. But yeah, Chelsea look pretty poor right now. To be fair, against Leicester, I don't necessarily mind them not doing well against Leicester. Because Leicester have proven that when they're on form, they are a side that can beat anybody. Hell, they beat Man City, didn't they? With that ridiculous scoreline. So
Can you do a
But-
series on Sheffield Wednesday?
I could, but I worry about the views, mate.
If it means we start playing well, I will view your video millions of times. I will buy mobile after
Yeah,
mobile.
just
I'll
literally-
stream it everywhere.
Well, in that case, I should just West Ham are doing all right already. I don't want to jinx that. So yeah, maybe I can. How are they doing right now?
What happened with Pulis, mate? Didn't they hire Pulis for 40 days and then sack him?
Yep.
What was that about?
Yep.
So can
Well-
you explain what happened there? I didn't really read much into it.
By the sound of things, our chairman's quite a stubborn bloke, and he likes things his way, and he will just get rid of people if they don't agree with his style of thinkings. The
Okay.
general thought is, from people that have got quite a few things right for Wednesday in the past, is that Pulis came to him with hard truth, saying that if you don't give me X, Y, Z, I can't do what you want with the club. And then we
Okay.
believe Chansiri just went, all right then, you're gone, and got rid of him. I think it's bizarre because even we could have survived with Pulis easily, but it's in doubt now. It's massively in doubt. And who's going to go to a club that have sacked 2 managers before Christmas? I mean,
Yeah,
I've always had jokes. I've always laughed at Watford. Now they've finally gone down. I can now really laugh at Watford saying, you sack your manager every 3 days. It's not worked out for you. Or we're doing the same thing. Bloody hell, we're becoming worse.
So have you got like an assistant manager at the moment now then, have you? Or
Well, we've got a caretaker in Neil Thompson, but we haven't actually played in the last couple of weeks because pretty much all our coaching staff are struck down with coronavirus.
oh, so you've had matches postponed?
Yeah, we're playing our first game. Might even be tonight, actually. Is it tonight? Surely not. I'll have heard it. Might be tonight, might not be tonight, but it's either that or the weekend we're playing. No, not tonight. So at the weekend we're playing, shows how much I know, against Coventry, I believe. But we haven't played since then. Not playing the weekend either. When are we playing? We're playing at some point. I've not a
we asked a
clue
Sheffield
when.
Wednesday fan. And he's just like,
I have
don't know
no
what's going on.
idea. Not a clue.
In your defence, you have a very popular Twitch stream, which you should go check out.
Needless to
Same
say,
name.
they will
but-
play eventually.
They'll play
Yeah.
eventually. They have some games in hand. That's what fans always say.
Sunday the 24th of January we're playing in Everton against the Everton in the FA Cup, and then we're back in the league Wednesday 27th. I've got the wrong week. So we are back on Wednesday.
Do you know how I
in the
know
league,
Nim's
but-
not here? I'm looking at the chat and they're starting to talk about fake taxi. So I believe that's no. Whatever you say in the chat, I don't think it actually
I do
affects-
see some funny fake taxi memes on FPL Twitter sometimes.
But yeah, I looked at the chat just now and I'm like, oh god.
There'd probably be one about John Stones. It'd be like, oh, that's filthy or something. Like the little subtitles.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to take this opportunity as it's now half time to get Ray into the party. Let him have some fun as well. Say how he's been doing this game week. So, guys, we're just going to go to the Be Right Back screen, and we will be back shortly. All right, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Ray, who has joined us after half-time. So thank you, Ray, for joining us and taking Nim's slot. We expect a lot of you because we've been let loose for 45 minutes of football, so hopefully you'll rein us back in, although I'm not sure you are ready to accept that role. I don't think we explained that to you, but you have to control us three. But yeah, exactly. It's not an easy task. That's why Nim had to take a break. She was just like, you know what? Working with these three, I need a break. But as it is half time, we still haven't got back into the game. How about you talk us through how your game week has gone so far?
Yeah, so far it's been really positive. So I took a bench boost -8. And currently with the -8, I'm on 103.
Oh, another person with a good score. Should have
Well,
brought
for
someone else on.
wait. For once, I'm on the stream and I don't have a shit score, so I'm gonna revel in this.
Bad score.
At the
Let's get
moment,
rid of those heinous
You were meant
words,
to be.
please.
You're in Nim's slot on the screen. Your name's there, but you're in Nim's slot on the screen. You're meant to control us, and you come in. Oh dear. Anyway, carry on.
yeah. So I started this game week on about 447k. Currently, I'm on 255k, and I still have another 5 players to play after tonight. So
no, you're above me as well now.
Yeah.
Who have you got left, Ray?
I've got
257k.
So minus Areola and Bruno, I still have Target again. So I got a bit jammy there. He came off.
Nice fixture. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Great
yes,
result.
because he
Great
came
result.
off, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but he might not be fit for the next game. And they got Newcastle at home. I still got Martinez. I still have Loughton and Salah.
Okay.
What I would always say is, though, take the points when they're there. Like, you can always say potentially Newcastle don't score, but for all we know, they'll go and score too. So those are points in the bag. I'll take a Martinez clean sheet today and not know what happens later than go, okay, well, they've still got Newcastle. So
yeah, if you ask me beginning of the week, Ray, Target's going to get 6 points from the 2 games.
you take it. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, true.
Are you a Rashford owner?
No, I'm not. No,
Okay,
I'm not.
cool. You can join me in the happiness of Rashford not starting then. Because these two were like, oh, Rashford's not starting. Although it's a good next fixture for him. And he's rested.
How's the actual game been? Because I haven't caught any of it.
So Fulham scored early.
Hmm.
Don't ask who assisted, because I'm a bit sore about that. because he'd have actually got more points than some of my midfielders so far. But yeah, then it's been pretty much Man United most of the game after the Fulham goal. Not going to lie, we talked a lot, so I didn't actually watch the full game. But from everything I saw, Man United were dominating. And then they did go and get a goal. And then there was a very contentious discussion about Bruno Fernandes's assist, which has now been awarded. So basically, to describe the goal to you, Bruno Fernandes was out on the left. He crossed it into around the 6-yard box area. Cavani was in that area. But strictly speaking, if no one had got involved, it probably wasn't going to Cavani. The goalkeeper got to the ball, got a touch on it, parried it out to Cavani, who scored. So we've had quite a big discussion over whether that should be given as a Bruno Fernandes assist. Then, of course, FPL did take a while to award the assist. And when I say a while, this is probably the longest we've waited for a decision from them. So me and Kurt are both of the belief that it shouldn't be given, because I think I was of the opinion that how do you know what the intended direction of a ball, and then they actually kick it and it could go anywhere, and you could argue that's their intended direction. But
it's got to be where the ball's going. It's got to be where the ball's going. When that ball was going, you've got to do it. If no one got in the way, where was that ball going to end up? Was Cavani going to get on the end of it? That would be so much better. No, he wasn't.
Because I feel like the use of the word intended, you don't know what someone intended to do.
Jesus Christ, I intend to do a lot of things.
When I play football,
I pass the ball,
Yeah, I intend to pass a brilliant 30-yard ball to the striker, and it goes off for a throw-in. But
I intend to put the 35-yard free kick into the top right-hand corner and go, top bins, how's that, my friends? How's that, my dudes? I don't mean to put it on the fucking train tracks next door.
Because I generally play right back, sometimes I intend to just clear the ball. And in my head...
It's generally wound me up, though. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, because...
The last rant I had, either on Twitter or on YouTube, was about the assist-making system, because it's absolute... It's just guessing. You never know what they're going to do. You could see that exact play next week of, like I say, a less-owned team, a less-owned players, and they'll do it willy-nilly. They won't give the assist. There is no continuation.
I reckon, like Brett said, you can definitely say if that was a less-owned player, the decision would be made quicker, and I almost feel like they probably wouldn't have given the assist.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it was a strong-arm decision.
Yeah.
I think they're going off Fernandes. How many people own Fernandes? Oh, that's a lot of the active. Because I say, if you're not an active player right now, you don't care, because you're not looking at your team anymore. They probably looked at the active players and went, oh, a lot of active players own Bruno Fernandes, so we'll give the assist.
Do you think it's possible that they would actually consider that if they annoy too many people with a bad call, that they'll delete the app and then they look? Do you think that ever comes into their mind, or am I...
Potentially, honest, but surely not. They've got about 8 million players playing at the moment. It's rising every year.
You've got a different level of player. I think you've got us, who are going to play it no matter what. We could get very agitated about this, and we're still going to carry on playing.
Yeah.
It's that area in between where there's like a group of players that could get hooked on it. And are you going to turn them off?
Yeah, because it's a marketing tool at the end of the day, isn't it? Because they sell football shirts through it and everything. There's a lot of advertising involved with FPL. You know, it's a big marketing tool for them, I think. So I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I wonder if that.
Yeah, maybe they look at. Maybe it took so long because they were looking at players that are still active now that haven't been before. How many of them own Bruno? And then they're like, okay, 100% of players that are involved this season that weren't seasons prior all have Bruno Fernandes, because they've all been on Twitter watching us and other people. I'm not just saying people watch us. And they've gone, okay, everyone owns Fernandes that we want to try and convert into a loyal player. And so they've gone, okay, give it to him. Whereas someone like McGinn, which we talked about before, they're like,
yeah,
pretty niche pick. No one's going to really care.
Yeah.
There'll be a couple of people, but...
Yeah. Me.
But they're already hooked. Those hardcore players that have picked McGinn, they're already hooked. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Who did you captain this week, Ray?
I went with KDB, Brett.
Okay.
It was really out of him and Salah, actually. And
yeah.
Same for me, mate.
Yeah, I'm at, but I'd like to add something to what you guys are saying. I agree that because it's Bruno, I think the uproar if he hadn't been given the assist would have probably been a bit too much. And I think from what, because I'm on Twitter probably too much, is basically people take it extremely seriously. Whether it's good or not is not my point. But people take it extremely seriously, and if they feel cheated in any way when we invest so many hours and so much time in trying to pick the right players, it could easily demotivate yourself and think, you know what, screw this, I'll play another fantasy game. I told you guys just as I joined was in other fantasy games it's pretty cutthroat. If a colleague goes for any kind of ball or any kind of shot, it rebounds, it goes to a player, it's automatically an assist. So you don't get any grey areas whatsoever. Because this argument could also be a penalty. Should a penalty be given as an assist then? Because now we're looking at a completely different dynamic, aren't we? I've just seen Bruno's cross in. I'm kind of comfortable that it was given an assist. And for me, Kurt, you probably don't agree, but I'm even comfortable with Chilwell's cross being given an assist for Mount's goal the other day because the intention was to try to create something for someone to score. But again,
the goal doesn't happen if he doesn't cross the ball. It was his ball.
Or even that is so much clearer than their current ruling. I would much rather you go harsh one side or harsh the other, so I know what the playing field is.
Make it black and white, don't make it grey.
Yeah, because if you just go, okay, they crossed it into the box and a goal results from the cross, then I can go and look at who crosses into the box a lot. I know what I'm looking for. But when the decision is so, okay, this has happened, I've just watched it, I don't know, I've got to wait to be given the decision. And then, like today, we waited for a while before the decision was given. I just feel like, okay, so you've not let me know the clear playing field, but I'm trying to play your game.
Yeah.
So you don't get a video game where you don't know the clear playing field. You're given a video game, this is what you're meant to do. And there's arguments behind games and how they try and keep like casual players in and don't reward hardcore players, but still, you play a game, you're playing the game. What you see is what you get in front of you. So I just want it clearer.
Just quickly, if there was no one in the box and a player tries to cross it anyway or shoots and it hits the opponent's hand and gets given as a penalty, that is given as an assist to that player.
No,
it could have been the worst pass in the world, but it hit the player's hand. So essentially, that player did create the penalty because they were the one that kicked it. In that case, then Chilwell, who crossed the ball and made the keeper make that save, should also be awarded the assist in that case, So,
I agree. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or just remove it completely so it's not subjective anymore. Make it objective.
As someone that hasn't seen this Chilwell issue, what exactly happened with Chilwell?
So it's a bit different. So Chilwell's crossed it in, and to put it in rough perspective, when Fernandez's went in, Cavani's sort of in that 6-yard area. So he's palmed it out, but you could have said maybe if Cavani sprinted and slid in, he might have just got a touch on it if no one was there. With the Chilwell one, he's crossed it in. The keeper's jumped up around sort of about, I'd say, a yard or two outside of his line, palmed it away to about the penalty spot where Mason Mount's waiting and half volleys it in.
Okay, half volley. Okay.
There's no, I don't think there's any way that can be the intended direction. And if so, if Chilwell comes out and says, I intended to put it onto him, I've captained myself in FPL, can I have the assist, please? Does that change anything?
Then, when someone takes a shot on goal and the keeper saves it, say it's someone in the penalty box, they shoot, keeper saves, rebound scored, that's an assist.
It is.
So surely Chilwell should still be an assist.
I've said this before, I don't like that rule either. I think that's rubbish. It's rewarding people for being, I'll try not to swear, really, really bad at shooting.
Take someone like Coutinho, who I was never a big fan of because I never owned at the right time.
Merchant.
He would shoot from anywhere, but if the keeper parried it and someone got a rebound, he got the assist. Whereas if that suddenly isn't the case, I'm now thinking, okay, that shot has to go in, or he doesn't get points, and I'm less inclined to pick it. So it just leaves it. Why is it, say, a shot from, say, around the D outside the penalty area? That is an assist because it's a shot on goal, it's saved. and then someone gets a rebound, why is that an assist? And a cross into the box that is parried by the keeper isn't.
I think FPL have just made it difficult for themselves.
Yes.
They could really make it so easy. And ultimately, more points and more traction because people will look at it and be like, Jesus Christ,
exactly.
I get assists all over the place here and points.
I'd agree. They're better off going for more assists than less, even though I'd probably prefer the less. As a player, I prefer the less, but yeah, to bring new players in, better to have as many players scoring as high amount of points as possible.
Sod it. If they're on the pitch and they're playing when the goal is scored, they've got an assist because they intended that goal to go in when he shot.
They intended to help their team to score that
exactly.
goal.
Give them all an assist. Why not? Ruin the game more.
They celebrated. Okay, imagine. They all 6 players participated in the celebration, so they were all part of the goal. The 5 players that stayed, they went back to their position, get ready for kickoff. They're not involved.
Well,
legitimately,
if they do the
furious.
social distancing with the celebration, they get a point.
If Nim watches this playback, because I haven't seen her in the chat, she's going to be like,
Pogba almost scored.
Don't talk bad about FPL.
I think Pogba had a shot. It was saved, and Fernandes headed it. I think he missed anyway, but it was offside.
Okay.
I'd say that was a pass by Pogba, but it was still
I'm listening to radio commentary now, so I can get up to date. I'm just going.
I would say that was
definitely 55. I've just hit 55.
I've hit 55-10.
Same as
that's
me.
That's a cross. That's a cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I heard was Pogba and then Fernandes, so I took a guess. Had not a clue.
That's a disservice.
It was offside anyway. Yeah.
That's a good ball by Pogba.
Areola's made some cracking saves the last few weeks.
Areola's a great goalkeeper. If he had a slightly better defence... Actually, to be fair to Fulham, they've got a lot better than they were.
They look like a side at the moment, don't they? When at the start, the first 5 games of the season, I thought, oh my God, this could be one of the worst teams I've seen.
I was so used to downplaying them that I just automatically went to saying, if you play for a better side. But to be fair, Fulham have looked good recently, which is why I have some Fulham players on the bench.
Fulham also almost fell into the same trap they had 2 years ago. So when you look at like Burnley, they came up, they went back down again, they came straight back up, they learned from their mistakes. There's a reason they're still a Premier League team. Fulham came up, made the mistake of buying 28 new players for the season or whatever, and I'm not even that far off. It genuinely was, I think, in the 20s, the amount of players they bought. A whole new team. They didn't gel. I think they made one of the most substitutions, one of the most changes per week. Went down. Went up again. Now they start the season. They started doing the same things again. You're thinking, oh bloody hell! Didn't you learn from last time, lads? But now they've got a set team. They've got there's the spine that doesn't change. So they've learned from their mistakes, and now all of a sudden they've got a team that's bonded a bit. And you've got the glue in the centre. You've got the certain players that are there week in, week out, and you've got the players that you interchange if there's fitness issues, if there's form issues, and they look all the better for it. So they've learned from their mistakes in the previous year and a bit, I'd say.
I think like the starting 11, the last couple of weeks or even tonight, is like 10 changes from the opening game. Like
exactly,
so, so he's really like Parker's done well to utilize the squad, put in, and find a better system because it wasn't working at the start.
I would argue, as there's so many Arsenal fans, that he's figured out what was wrong earlier and brought in the right players before Arteta did. Arteta's only just started to realise which players he needs to play.
Well, yeah, that was out of force, not out of design.
Whereas I think Parker was like, okay, this isn't working, and he did something about it.
Yeah, because two of their best players, Mitrovic and Brian as well. I think Brian was a huge player for them last season, and they're both out of the team now.
Like, who would have thought Mitrovic wouldn't be playing right now?
I know.
Like, if at the start of the season,
everyone
was thinking Mitrovic is decent at his price because if anyone's going to score for Fulham, it's going to be Mitrovic.
Yeah, I started with him.
Me too.
I don't blame anyone that started with him. I think I started with him but quickly transferred him out.
In fact, I think, I put a poll about kind of the 3 promoted strikers who were the top scorers in the Championship in Bamford, Watkins and Mitrovic. And I said, be honest, who did you fancy to be the best out of the 3? And most of the votes went for Mitrovic, as did I. And
he's got a proven record before this season.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. Bamford's come up before, and granted, he's had a lot of time to grow. he struggled. Watkins is completely untested, so you never know what you're going to get. Mitrovic seemed a decent pick and the safest pick.
Agree.
I'd argue that the reason Bamford has the goals he's got is because the way Leeds play.
Oh, they create so many.
And if you think about it, we saw it in the Championship. It was clear that he wasn't a clinical finisher by any means, but Leeds create the chances, which means he gets goals.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest,
one, for example.
all pre-season I was saying, don't bring him in. They're not going to get as many chances, and without that many chances, he's not going to score that many. And he's proven me wrong, but I'd also say because Leeds have still created so many chances, he's managed to get goals. I don't watch a Leeds game and think every time Bamford gets the ball, he's going to score. Whereas, like, if you look at Kane and Son, as soon as they get a chance, you're hopeful because you're like, okay, they don't need as many chances to get the goals. With Bamford, he gets a chance in the box. I'm hopeful, but wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go in. So, I'd definitely say Mitrovic was a big disappointment because I just assumed he'd be such a big player for Fulham. But they've done so much better without him that Fulham players have become an option for them.
Yeah, I agree.
So in summary, the FPL assist system is rubbish.
Let's try and not
Not good
badmouth
enough.
FPL anymore. Let me put my NIM hat on. And, yeah, FPL is a great game.
But you can make it easier for
Yes.
yourselves, guys.
Yes.
You really could. Yeah, but the comment
Even
that-
Nuclear Atoms is saying he would make some comments right now that he wouldn't if Nim was here. I'm like, no, just make the comments he would make if Nim was here. We're trying to behave.
but replace the swear words with like fruits or something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it really catchy, like ad libs.
Go on, Ray.
Go on, Brett. Yeah, no, about Areola. For me, a top keeper isn't the shot stopping; it's the decision making, really. And I feel his error today and the error against Chelsea, because it was his error that led to the goal. It proves to be that he's still got a lot of work to do. But however, he's definitely been a huge contribution as to why Fulham just look a lot better. And he is a World Cup winner, by the way. He was the third goalie for France, so he's no mug. But yeah, I think he's still got a little bit to do in regards to decision making, but he'll get there through maturity, isn't it, as he grows up? Because he's not Hulk. I think he's 25, 26, so he's young for a goalie.
You just have to look at the clubs he's played for. He was clearly brought in as a good second choice at like Real Madrid.
And
That, like,
PSG.
there's clearly potential in this guy, and I think a defence plays so much better when they have trust in that goalkeeper. You just have to look at Martinez at Aston Villa, when I watched the game earlier, when they said Martinez was at Arsenal for was it 10 years or something like that? I was like, how is a keeper that good been at Arsenal for that long? But put a good keeper behind the defence, and that defence gets confident, and they suddenly start performing better. Because if the mistake does come, or potentially you go in for a tackle and you miss it, your goalkeeper's of the standard that could save you. Whereas if you don't have that confidence in the keeper, like take Sheffield United, when Henderson was in goal,
Sorry.
great defence. And trust me, I'm an AFC Wimbledon fan. Ramsdale played for us for a whole season, and in League One, he was a great keeper. But in the Premiership, it's not as obvious that he's a good keeper. I'd still like to think he's a good keeper, but I don't think he installs that confidence in the Sheffield United side. Their defence just doesn't seem as concrete and solid as it was before. So I think
They don't
a
trust
good
the
keeper,
behind,
yeah, exactly. And it might not be that Ramsdale's any worse, but they just don't have that trust. So I feel like that affects the performance of a defence.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, Martial almost scored.
If
Oh,
Martial
offside and everything.
scores, I will end the stream.
Did you sell him this
Potentially.
week?
No, I had him last week because I thought, you know what, free hit, take a punt on Martial. Everyone's going to bring in Rashford. take a punt on Martial, free hit. Looked dangerous, but as soon as he got a chance, looked terrible. So if Martial actually scored this game, we could almost be like, okay, that's Man City defenders did amazing after the free hit. You have the likes of Gundogan doing amazing after the hit. Oh, by the way, focus. Yeah. I suggested Ramsdale as a keeper in free hit 18. He got a clean sheet.
Glenn says goal.
Goal.
Haven't seen it yet. Greenwood, no. We're so far behind.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, if you watch it on a telly and you watch it on a stream, it's Pogba.
It's just
Pogba.
Pogba.
I don't think there's an assist there.
Oh, it's a cracking goal.
I don't think there's an assist there. There could be an assist there, but...
Goodness me.
Damn, they don't need Rashford now either. Balls.
That's probably good for me, to be fair. The interesting thing is Pogba looks such a better player now that every time Man United start playing well, it's like Pogba thinks, oh, I have to step my game up. Otherwise, I'm going to just be lost in the pack.
This is an absolutely brilliant goal. Fantastic. I'll give him some credit though with Pogba. He really had a niggling injury last season. It really affected him.
Wait, which side do you support? Why are you giving Pogba any credit? You're an Arsenal fan. I'm joking.
Yeah, but I'm logical.
No. To be fair, I'm logical because my team's in the League One. So,
do either of you have Chilwell at the moment?
No, I got rid of him for Robertson because I thought Chelsea looked average.
I took James instead and used the money elsewhere. But
okay, have you still got James at the moment, or?
I do. I was planning to take him out for this -8, and then was told he was fit, so I decided to take out Dallas instead of James, and that was just an error.
Well, it's not that bad a decision.
Oh,
Dallas didn't do
great
much.
save. Great save.
There we go. Areola, good keeper.
Well,
looks off. Oh no.
Yeah, well on.
If Cavani started every game, he'd be in my side.
Likewise, for that price.
For that price,
and
the quality of player he is, with Bruno Fernandes behind him, I would probably almost consider not having Bruno Fernandes and just having Cavani.
Yeah, Brett, about Chilwell, why was there something you want to share about it?
Just Jones bloke in the chat was asking, do we think it's time to get rid of him, basically? So I wanted to see if either of you had him and were thinking about that.
Well, I'm tempted to take out Reece James anyway because Chelsea just look... I mean, I don't even think I'll start him in my next game week. I think I'll have him off the bench against Wolves. I just don't trust the Chelsea defence at this time. And they look quite toothless going forward, I must say.
Yeah, has Zuma been dropped or what's going on with Zuma?
Well, Lampard seems to be taking this Jose forward thinking of dissing a player publicly. And I think they may have had a fallout after the defeat against, not Arsenal, but they had a defeat after. I don't remember who. And he basically called out Zuma for, we need a bit more personality, and that's why he...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
See, I don't know if...
Someone is just, it just doesn't work for me.
I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I always looked at Zuma and thought, he's a good defender if he's next to someone that is a real leader in the back. And I've always looked at that Chelsea defence and thought, yeah, Thiago Silva played at PSG, is a very established and experienced player, but it's not like he's next to Van Dijk or someone like that.
He's a shell of his former self, isn't it? It's unbelievable that he's playing.
So I almost look at him for, okay, yes, he can get goals, but do I think Chelsea can get clean sheets? And I always looked at him for, if they do, that's a bonus, but I'd rather have someone like Chilwell who could get an assist if they don't get the clean sheet. And right now they're not playing well enough to think okay, I want a Chelsea defender. So that's why I've got rid of Chilwell, because I was hoping Liverpool, after that Crystal Palace victory, would start turning a corner, keeping clean sheets, beating opposition convincingly, and they haven't. So it's not like I transferred Chilwell out for a better player, necessarily FPL-wise, but I would say you don't need a Chelsea defender right now until things turn around, when you could go to Man City, where they look very good defensively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. I'm sort of in like uncharted territory at the moment, because obviously I wanted to wildcard in double Man City defense because of their defensive stats at the moment and their fixtures. But I still felt a bit uncomfortable that I've got Stones and Diaz, two centre backs, and I was kind of like, wow, I haven't got. And then I've got Seiss as well. So on the wildcard, I had Seiss, Rob Holding, Diaz, Stones.
So you didn't have Tierney, you had Holding over Tierney.
Yeah, for on a wild card it was cheaper, because I knew after the wild card, after I bench boost, when I bench boost later, I don't want a 5.6 rotation defender. You know, I don't want to play every week. So I thought Holding at 4.4, 4.5. After the after the double game week and bench boost, I can just leave him on the bench if I want anyway. He's cheap enough. I haven't got to transfer him out to extract more value, if that makes sense. And then in that week, Tierney got benched anyway, and Holding, or he didn't make the squad, and Holding kept the clean sheet, so that worked out. So yeah, I've got 4 centre backs, you know, and I was sort of like, wow, I haven't got a Robertson, I haven't got a Chilwell. I kind of felt a bit strange about that, because at the start of the season they were the ones to go for, all the wing backs, you know, all the full backs. So yeah, I still feel a little bit bare without a player like that, because when I do watch Chilwell bombing forward, of course, I've only got Kufal at the moment, and I'm really happy with Kufal, the way he gets forward. It's weird because before the defeat yesterday, obviously Chelsea, another poor display, losing 2-0 to Leicester. Before that, I was looking at routes to get Chilwell back. Obviously, I know it wouldn't be a popular move now, but yeah, that result maybe changes it a bit for me. But I do like their fixtures going forward. I don't know. When I watch Chelsea, I still think, Chilwell looks quite dangerous. Wolves at home, Burnley at home, Spurs away next, then Sheffield United, Newcastle. Chances for clean sheets against Blades and Newcastle, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, defenders is tough at the moment. Unless you've got Man City defenders, I don't know which ones I like really at the moment. I mean, Luke Shaw's looking quite good at the moment, and United have got some good fixtures, so Luke Shaw could be a shout.
I'm assuming we've talked about the Pogba goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a blinding goal.
Cracking goal, mate. Cracking goal.
It's a brilliant goal. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, it's pretty much done anyway, but to be fair.
Got defenders you're considering?
It's basically Jones bloke in the chat has got Chilwell. I'm not sure if you got him, Kurt, but he wants to know if it's time to get rid, basically.
Yeah, easily. I mean, talking about options, I think Wan-Bissaka's not a bad shout. Personally, I think United have got a couple of hard fixtures in the future, but I'm looking at the run. I've already brought him in. Sheffield United at home, Arsenal away, Southampton at home, Everton at home, West Brom away, Newcastle at home. Take up to game week 26, where they've got Chelsea away and Man City away, which are tough games. But that run there, barring Arsenal, if they're rejuvenated, there's 5 clean sheets in there unless they balls it up, and there's attacking returns potentially to come for Wan-Bissaka. He's only got the 1 goal, 1 assist so far, but I think he's a decent shout.
Yeah, I was just talking about Luke Shaw at the moment, because it's not such a financial burden with Shaw, 4.8. Now, the reason I was a bit wary to go for him is because I thought maybe Tellez was going to come in and out of the side, but at the moment, Shaw seems to have nailed down the spot. 4.8 million, so it's not like a Maguire or Wan-Bissaka where it's a bit more expensive, and you're like, I feel a bit more uncomfortable spending that on them. I don't know. I like these when you can get into a team a bit cheaper. You know, I quite like it. But I did have some stats open a minute ago. I think Luke Shaw's stats over the last couple of game weeks are really impressive, actually.
Luke Shaw's always been a player that gets forward.
Yeah. So
it's not like he's shy of getting forward and getting the ball into the box.
Like, if you could pick like a defense now, like what defenders stand out to you aside from Man City defenders?
James Justin is someone I've loved since day one.
Yeah.
I
that's
mean,
a
right
good
now,
shout.
if you
That's a
think
great
value-wise, there is plenty of options value-wise. Kufal, Justin, Shaw,
Target.
that are players that you can get in that are getting clean sheets. And look, at the end of the day, we all like it if a player does go and get assists or goals as a defender, because then you have the possibility of a double-digit haul if
The
they
12
get a clean
pointers,
sheet.
the
Yeah,
15
exactly.
pointers, yeah.
But
And then if you have to bench them, you don't feel so guilty because they're not that expensive.
right now,
Yeah, I like that luxury.
like, if you can get into the Man City side for the price of Stones, you can get into that Man United side for the price of Shaw. Like, you're looking at cheap defenders that could get you clean sheets.
Yeah. That's a good shout, Ray, about James Justin, because I know it's been a popular pick since the beginning, but he's one player that I really miss having, actually.
Same. I wish I hadn't got into the whole, Ricardo Pereira is going to come back. Ricardo Pereira is just around the corner, lads. Don't worry about it. He's going to come back. Like, if I'd just stuck with Justin until Pereira had come back, instead of thinking it's coming, so let's move him on now. So I think I had him for 6 game weeks, and then I was like, okay, Pereira's going to be back soon. Let's look at someone else. But yeah, well, he had that header, didn't he? That if he'd scored that
He
header,
should have scored. Oh, he should have scored. He really should.
if that had gone in, Justin would be in the same sentences as John Stones right now. But
Yeah, so
Yeah.
personally, when I picked him at the start, I fancied Ricardo would be out for a couple of game weeks. But again, at 4.5 million, I already built a half-decent squad or defence. So if he has to pop out, I'll put some more back in. And I'm using the same kind of mindset going forward as well. Because, I think Target is a good one, Brett, but also Holding as well. And remember, the value of it, you're okay, he's not going to play this week, but I got Sufal coming off the bench, so I really feel just going cheap at the back is just the way right now.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah,
pretty template to go cheap at the back. It's helped me a lot in these weeks.
thing is, we're all lured in by that potential of the likes of Robertson and Chilwell.
Yeah,
We know what could happen, and one like Cancelo's another one. We've looked at the underlying stats. He looks like a player that could have a ridiculous haul.
hit the
And then
bar today as well.
so many
Yeah.
people have brought him in for this double game week, thinking it's coming. That
Yeah,
double-digit haul is coming, and then Stones and Diaz are the ones you should have gone for. So
You're right. Yeah. And it's on paper, it feels like the boring pick. Like I was going to go Cancelo with Stones and Cancelo, but then there was a little bit of a comment from Pep about Cancelo, look, maybe being a bit tired or something. I thought, you know what, for the double game week, just get Diaz. You know he's going to play
secured
both.
picks, yeah.
And that's paid off for now. And if one of them, look, Stones or Diaz are bound to get a rest eventually, but like Ray said, with Holding on the bench as a backup, he can come in 1 week if I need him to. So I've got Roman Saiz at the moment, and he was always going to be a short-term move. I had him for the last 2 games on the wild card, West Brom and Everton.
Week, as well.
Yeah, West Brom and Everton in the blank, because he had good goal score, goal attempts, that kind of thing. Didn't pay off at all. So I know I want to get rid of him soon. That was always the plan. I might get Justin back, because looking at, I'm going
to be honest. After this game week, I'm tempted to play the wild card and just build a team around these budget players that are in teams that can keep clean sheets.
Leicester's fixtures are very nice for the long term. A very good fixture.
Dallas, Brett?
I don't, mate. I don't. I would have actually, but because the Leeds double game week got cancelled, I thought, you know what, I'll go for Holding instead. I had Dallas instead of Holding at that point.
Dallas owner here. That was fun.
Why'd you ask, Ray?
No, simply because of the fixtures going forward. There's a potential of hauling for him because he's such an attacking threat every single game. And he's cheaper than Saiz.
The thing is,
and
Leeds.
They're going to get the double.
The thing is,
That's
Leeds,
true.
are they a
That's
clean
true.
sheet side? A Leeds a side that's the problem. Like, you're looking for attacking returns from Dallas. So it's the exciting FPL pick. And yes, Leeds every now and again keep a clean sheet because they just dominate a game to the extent where they're likely to keep a clean sheet. But
when I'm advising Dallas, I'm almost ignoring a clean sheet. Let's be honest.
I don't think he's attacking enough to ignore the clean sheet. That's the problem. that I now have, I look at a lot of my defenders. Not a lot of my defenders, because Cresswell, I still think West Ham can keep clean sheets. Disappointed they didn't do it against West Brom, but West Ham have looked decent defensively. But I look at Dallas and I think, if he doesn't get an attacking return, am I actually expecting any points? Probably not.
But he's at the price, but for me, he's at the price range where you're okay to take those risks. Like,
Yeah,
I'd be okay to take those risks, personally. Or you could go for someone like Bednarek, where Southampton look a lot more solid defensively, and he's around the same budget. And again, he's less than size. I think Vestergaard is expected to be back in about a week or so, potentially against Arsenal in the league game, not the FA Cup game.
If I go for an Arsenal player, they're going to lose, so I'm just not going to go there.
Good lad.
Let me know when you do, and I'll stick a fiver on them to lose.
Because the fact, as soon as I get an Arsenal player in, they won't do as well as I hope they will. So I don't want to do that to you guys. So I'm just going to stay clear of Arsenal. You can have the greatest season or comeback ever. I just don't want an Arsenal player anymore. Apart from maybe Smith Rowe, but he'll be on my bench, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, his price is incredible. So, yeah.
80 minutes on the clock, still 2-1 to United.
Come on, Rashford, get on the pitch.
Nuclear
No,
Ams
he's
does have the
not on
question
yet.
of, should I still keep Salah even if he doesn't haul against Burnley? Or switch him to KDB? So
I got rid of him.
a bit more information there than a general question from Nuclear, so I appreciate that. It's a direct switch to KDB if
No.
he's going to get rid of him.
No.
So you'd keep Salah.
No, I'll get rid of Salah for someone else.
And who would you get rid of him for?
Well, I've got rid of him for Smith Rowe. So I've taken a minus.
Like a third of his
That's
price.
such a curt answer. I got rid of him. Oh yeah, I
Just
got rid
in
of him for
8
Smith Rowe.
million in the bank and vibing.
I'll get it at the end, right?
Just looking at the cash in the bank. Don't worry about it.
The thing is, that when you look at your midfield and the bog standard midfield, because my midfield is, I don't have De Bruyne, but I've got Salah, Fernandes, Son, Rashford. I've got Kane up top. Anytime I make a transfer, I'm counting the pennies. Whereas now, if I make a transfer and get someone in, I've got 5-1 in the bank.
5 million.
Mate,
in the
I'm
bank.
rolling in it. And I've got Salah out, who's looked poor. And Liverpool, I said at the start of the season, by the way, would not be the same Liverpool as the last season as they are this season. And I've been proven correct on it. He will still score
you
goals,
said
but
they
he won't be
qualify
as...
for the Champions League.
There's still time.
I was going to say, we don't know yet.
The season ain't over yet. In fact, we're only halfway through. 19 games been played for some, 18, 17 for others. So you never know. With any luck, they won't qualify.
Or
But
Glenn Knightley agrees with you. Or Kitely,
Kindly,
sorry.
mate. Kindly.
Yes.
But no, because it was mainly just because I look every time I tried to get a transfer in, I'm thinking, right, I'm going to have to potentially look at someone like, maybe even someone like, I don't know, a Diaz or a Dyer or a Cresswell. I'm thinking I have to get rid of them, free up some money, get maybe or a Mitchell in for Crystal Palace, and then I can make the a couple of like 0.3 million up. But now I've got money to spare, and it's quite relieving. And especially if Arsenal have got a tough game, I'm not benching 8 million on the bench. I'm putting 4.5 million on the bench. I've got him and Souček on the bench. I've got him and Souček in midfield with 3 other expensive players. It's allowed me to get Luke Ayling out. Dopey, bless him, has been a player I wanted to get out for ages. And I've got a more competitive back line in there now because Wan-Bissaka's in there. I've got rid of Rhian Brewster, who, let's be fair, was just making up the numbers. And I've got him out for Mikel Antonio, who, providing he keeps fit, I know it's that big old meme at the moment, but providing he keeps fit, he's a phenomenal pick. And West Ham are in some nick at the moment. My team's stronger for getting rid of Salah. Salah's not the be-all and end-all of it. I'm looking at the 13 or 12 odd million that you're going to spend on Salah, 4.5 on Smith Rowe, 6 million odd on Antonio. That's going to make up the points that Salah's getting, plus the extra money on Wan-Bissaka. I think is a good choice to do that sort of thing, personally. But then again, I probably finished last out of everyone, so don't
Good.
listen to me.
Obviously, you like to, give be a bit different to others with
Yep.
your management. At the
And
start of the season, you were very much about Aubameyang for the long term, and obviously that hasn't. I assume you haven't had him for a while. He hasn't been that
No.
great. But 2 goals in the previous game. Is he back on your radar at all?
Potentially, no, I'm not going to lie, potentially.
Okay.
The only problem is, and he probably would have been an option, maybe even getting rid of if I'd have waited and I've known maybe Rashford's a rotation risk. Rashford is on the cards to go out because at the moment he hasn't scored. I know Rashford is a sort of player, Rashford, that he won't score in a couple of weeks, but he will end up getting you a haul.
Yeah.
If I'd have waited, going Rashford to Aubameyang and then maybe someone cheaper, like maybe Salah to Grealish, bloody hell, that's a transfer and a half in it, and that's my 2 free transfers done if that's the case. And that might even give me the money to go from Brewster to Antonio. So it's a potential. The only problem is that when I made it, I didn't anticipate Rashford being dropped and potentially not scoring again, and also Smith Rowe's 4.5 million. And it's hard not to say no when you've got Smith Rowe and Saka playing. That's
Smith
the
Rowe
big
and Saka
problem.
make Aubameyang.
Rashford's coming on for 5 minutes. Come on.
Oh, there we go. Interesting 5 minutes.
It's an extra point for me because obviously it's a double game week. He's already played in the previous game, so I'm not going to get anyone off the bench. So this is an extra point at least. I'll take it.
Good. Put me down
Oh, yeah, you need the points, don't you, Brett?
5 minutes.
You need the point. Brett's there going, an extra point. Thank God. My game week was ruined until I got this point.
All we've got to hope is that if somebody on in right wing and he just constantly crosses the ball in and hopes that the keeper palms it out to someone.
Come on, Rashford.
And he'll get a couple of points.
Fresh legs. Come on, son.
Also, Scott McTominay's come on. So Martial and Greenwood are off. Rashford and McTominay are on. Fulham have made 3 subs as well. Cavallero came off in the 71st for Kamara. Then Zambo, no idea either, came off for Mario Lemina. And then Olorena came off for Mitrovic.
Oh, that was a short back pass. That was
yeah.
risky.
Yeah, you're right. Have you got Salah still, Ray? You have, haven't you? You just said.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, Salah and De Bruyne.
Yeah, Salah, De Bruyne, Son, and Bruno. I don't think I'll take them out. But let's just say
the fantastic
nuclear.
4.
Yeah, let's say that nuclear that you wanted to take out Salah and you were really sure about it if he doesn't perform. I don't imagine you have Son, Bruno, KDB, and Grealish. So he doesn't have KDB already. But what you could do is, if you're really feeling, frosty, is you could possibly bring in someone like Maddison, who's looking good right now. Let's have a good run of fixtures going on right now. And then you could really use that money to bolster up the rest of the squad. But that's if you're really, really certain to take out Salah. And KDB could be injured because it looked like he pulled his hammy.
Well, nuclear, I'm definitely thinking of dropping KDB and Salah.
But I wouldn't do it. I'd keep Salah.
So, I know it. I just feel like that Liverpool side doesn't look that impressive to me. And of course, tomorrow they could completely change my opinion around.
They are bound to eventually, aren't they?
But it's that Crystal Palace issue. They didn't look amazing for that Crystal Palace game, and then they had that Crystal Palace game, and then suddenly we're like, we have to have them. 1 second.
Yeah. If there was no fitness issue for KDB, I would make the move, I think, if Salah does blank against Burnley, just because of City's next 3. West Brom away, Sheffield United at home, Burnley away. 3 nice fixtures there. But I haven't got Salah at the moment, so I know it's always hard if you've got him to get rid. It's always hard to sell him. And I've made sure to remain flexible. So when I wildcarded Salah out, I had my moves planned in the future. And I looked at United's double game week. So I went for Rashford and Fernandes. And then the week after the double, it's Sheffield United at home for Rashford and Fernandes, whilst Salah's away to Spurs. So I thought, you know what? Spurs are defending okay. Salah doesn't always do it in the big games. So I'll take a punt on Rashford for Sheffield United at home. With the flexibility to get him back, then Salah for game week 21. I think Salah plays maybe
You got money in the bank, Brett? You got a couple of million in the bank?
I haven't, but I've got Callum Wilson, who I don't want after the bench boost anyway. So I would bank the transfer, and then the 2 moves would be Wilson down to a 4.5 probably, and then Rashford up to a Salah. I wanted to leave enough in the bank to make those 2 moves possible. Because I always want to be flexible to get Salah back, because I know what I'm like. The minute I sell Salah, I'm always worried that I'm going to want him back. And I wanted to make it an easy way to do that, because if I didn't, then I'd end up panicking, taking a -8 or -4 and getting Salah, and freak out about it. So I thought, you know what, I'll leave myself flexible. I won't go for Tierney. I'll save $1 million. I'll go for holding instead. And that leaves me a bit more flexible then to downgrade Wilson and get Salah back for West Ham. And I think the week after that, they might play Brighton at home. And I think that's a very nice fixture for Salah to return to form at home to Brighton. Good captaincy option for game week 22 then. So, if De Bruyne is fit, then I think he probably outscores Salah over the next 3 just because of the fixtures. But Salah's always on my mind to get him back at any moment, because he's still like the best player in FPL, or at least one of the best players in the game. He has been for years. So,
see, for me, it's an issue of Salah and De Bruyne have now, in my mind, become players that, unless I'm captaining, I don't need. Because neither of them fill me with the confidence that if the goal was scored, I'll probably get a bit of stick for this, but I always look at a side and go, okay, who's scoring the goals regularly for this side? And Man City, any player can score on that pitch. And with Liverpool, you've still got the likes of Mane, you've got Firmino. Before his injury, you had Jota. I just worry that Salah will play in a side that go and win 2-0 or win 2-1, and Salah doesn't get the goal or doesn't get the assist. While I'm looking at Spurs and going, if the goal was scored, at least one of Son and Kane.
Kane or Son.
Yeah. It might not be both of them, which it has been quite often, but one of them will be involved. So I'm almost like, okay, I've got the premium options of Bruno Fernandes. He's almost wavering a little bit as well, but Bruno Fernandes, he's going to be involved.
So you're going to go without Salah, Bruno, and KDB?
No, there's no chance. There's no chance. Bruno has to be the one that is in there still. But I look at KDB and I look at Salah and go, do Liverpool and Man City have to rely on those two players?
I know, but the best teams in the league obviously have the most goals in them, and they can share the goals, of course. But
that's what I thought before I took Son and Kane out in game week 10ish. And I made no ground taking out Son and Kane for the likes of Kevin De Bruyne.
I know. I just feel like Kane and Son this season is a bit of an anomaly. Like, when have two players combined for so many goals in an FPL season? Like, every Son goal, Kane assist, every Kane. It's like mental, But
I'm also looking at that team
the
and
Premier
thinking,
League record of most combined goals and assists to each other. I think we've got the Premier League record.
Thing is, I'm looking at that Spurs side. What players are on their level?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. They're so outstanding in that team that if they're going to score, they're the only ones.
Like,
that can
I
do
look
it.
at Son's underlying stats all the time and think, okay, it's going to slow down, but it doesn't.
Because he's an elite finisher. That's why.
Son is arguably I just love Son.
If Son played for City,
he could arguably be like the best player in the league. Or
if
one
Son
of them.
played for City,
so good.
you'd have to own him. Like, if Son played for a side that created a ridiculous amount of chances, Son at City or Liverpool, and you didn't own Son, I'd be questioning whether you should play this game.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't need as many chances to score those goals. And as much as I took the punt on going, you know what, Spurs now have tough fixtures, City don't, I wish I'd stuck with Son and Kane. It's one of my regrets of the season. Because they're so consistent.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, but for me, because Salah's proved it just since he's come, just too risky to take him out. Potentially, unless you have maybe Liverpool cover somewhere else, because I think they're going to turn the corner.
Well, if Jota was still around, I'd just advocate getting Jota in.
Well, of course. I mean, he's half the price.
But yeah, the problem is he's now not around anymore. He's injured. But Mane's really dropped off. Firmino is. Don't get me wrong. Firmino around Christmas seems to always score. But other than that, Firmino isn't really an option. And it's almost like I'm just trying to cover that Liverpool fixture for the sake of it being Liverpool.
Yeah, Alexander-Arnold this season too is a real fall from grace from last season.
I think we all said at the beginning of the season, you have to have Trent. That's
he was
our
the first player on my team sheet, the first one of them. Salah and Trent, Of course, I was weighing up Roberts. I was weighing up the double up. I was very close to the double up.
I did it.
Yeah, I can't
Ooh.
fault it at all, mate. It just goes to show how you have, like, I know I always mention Late Riser on this stream, but I really admire him as like a manager.
You're
And
beating him, by the way.
I know he's having a tough time of it. I know he's having a tough time at this season, but he
Don't
always
be
says,
wrong, I rate him as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to be. He says you've got to adapt. You've got to be flexible. You know, when something is gospel one week, it can very quickly change. And like this season, I was so much like Alexander Arnold. You know, we were all so much about he's just such a bargain. He's the best player in the game. And yeah, it's just not been that way so far. We're halfway through the season now.
Well, hasn't it come out that he had COVID and then just he's not come back the same player?
I have no idea actually.
That's I think I saw something from Klopp saying he had COVID during the restart, and or before the restart, and he's just not come back the same player. And I think we saw it in the restart. He wasn't the Trent that we owned before then. But you just think,
Time.
Is it full time finish? Yeah,
Yeah, 2-1.
So 2-1.
Rashi blank.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
for
it's.
me, after you, sorry. Jeff.
Yeah, I just think it's a case of we get so used to a player doing so well that we stick to it. A bit like Kane. There was a period where I would advocate on any stream that I did on my channel or anything like that. I'd be like, Kane will come good. Kane will come good. After I had a great season with him when he was a ridiculously cheap shout. And then eventually I had to let him go because he just wasn't scoring. And now he's back to that form. I just think sometimes you have a player like Salah, and he could go and prove me wrong. It's, of course, completely possible. But I'm just looking at that Liverpool side, and I'm looking at Salah and thinking, I'm not sure I need him anymore. And it's a brave call to do it. But that's sometimes what makes you get that higher ranking. Looking at a player and just going, that Liverpool side isn't as good as they were last year. Salah isn't as good as he was last year. Although I'd argue at the beginning of the season, Salah did look like he was returning back to his form.
Yeah.
And Trent isn't as good as he was last year. That's painfully obvious now, but it took me a lot longer than potentially it should have. So we get used to a player. We get attached to players, I think, as FPL managers. They do well for us one season, and we're like, that's it.
And the
this
FOMO
is a
as
must-own
well.
player.
For me, at least, FOMO is a big issue with the way
Definitely,
I play. I
definitely.
let the fear overcome me sometimes. I get them in just so they don't hurt me.
It's that shield play. Shield, sword, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that I'm so worried if he does hold, if I don't own him.
Yeah.
But sometimes, as long as your points covered it elsewhere, say you went and got Stones and Diaz for the price of Kevin De Bruyne, that's done you really well. Not only this game week, Man City have been keeping clean sheets for a while now. So that's done you well for a while, not just for this game week. And a lot of us have this kind of bias of looking at just what's happened recently. But Man City's defence has looked completely solid for a while. And we could be getting the points from City there and ignoring their attacking players because points are spread about.
So have you got Son, just one of Son and Kane at the moment, Jerry?
I have Son. Son.
Okay, yeah, same.
Oh, no. I did have Son. I got rid of him,
so
Kevin De Bruyne.
You've got neither now. You've got neither.
I've got neither.
Okay.
And I'm not happy about it.
No. Speaking of FOMO, I did not enjoy having neither of those players. I'm happy with just Son for now.
The benefit was they only had one game. So once that game's out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a hit and miss with Tottenham's fixtures now, but after Liverpool, which Son can do well in anyway, Brighton after that, struggling Chelsea, then at home to West Brom, so Son's not going to be moving for me for a while.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you think of fixtures,
too good a value. His value's too good.
If you think of fixtures without just taking the name value of the side, are we really that worried about Liverpool? Like, I'd worry against them against City because City's defence looks good. But Chelsea, I'm not worried about a Chelsea fixture. I'm still not worried about an Arsenal fixture. Sorry, Arsenal fans.
No.
But defensively, I'm still not worried about an Arsenal fixture. Leicester, I'd say until recently, Leicester have only just got back into form. Like, I'm not looking at any of Spurs' fixtures and going, that's a really tough fixture. that they won't score on, because they seem to be scoring against whoever they come up against.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I may have confused you there with that.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. Not at all. It's good.
I think a good point you make, and I wanted to make it about Trent, is I think Trent has been affected the most from the Gomez and Van Dijk injuries, because I think he's been shackled to go forward now, because he's obviously defensively the weakest out of the four. If you look at the 4 first team players of TAA, Robbo, Van Dijk, and Gomez, I think he's been shackled to move forward now, so he can help a bit more at the back, and therefore Henderson is not stepping in as much to fill out right back when Trent's going forward. I looked at the heat maps, and Trent is nowhere near as attacking the positioned as Robbo.
That's really interesting.
Because he trusts Robbo, doesn't he? And Robbo is a better defender.
Yeah, no question.
So I think he is a victim of those injuries because he can't be saved by the athleticism of Gomez and Van Dijk anymore. They need to be a bit more defensively stout now. That will affect Trent's attacking expression for me. So
that's a really good point, mate. No.
So out of interest, then, as that's your view, is Robertson that much better at tracking back that it doesn't affect Robertson's play?
I think he is, because if you look at one-on-ones, Robertson is very seldomly is he ever taken past, while Trent, I see people getting past him all the time, and I don't think he's that good at tracking back, personally. And I don't actually think he's as quick as Robbo. Not that Robbo's blistering or anything. I just see I see Trent as an inverted winger almost, a winger who's become a right back. So I don't think Klopp actually trusts him defensively enough, and that's why you'll see a lot of the time Henderson covering for him at right back or doubling up defensively when he's being faced Trent.
I would agree with you. I think without Henderson, if I see that Liverpool lineup and Henderson isn't there, I don't think there's a clean sheet.
Agree.
Because as much as Henderson is the leader of that side, the captain, and I think a lot of it has come out recently, especially with out fans in attendance, you now get a lot more clips of Henderson's voice in games. But without Henderson in that side, I'd look at a Liverpool lineup and think they're going to concede. And so they need to outscore.
He drives the intensity, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he drives the intensity.
Definitely. That whole press, the whole Klopp press is reliant on someone like Henderson. So I never saw Robertson until maybe this season as a player that was a good defender, because I saw Robertson and Trent as good wing backs, very good at getting forward, and the fact that they had Van Dijk and Gomez and then someone like Fabinho coming back and sitting deep, I was like, okay, they don't need to be good wing backs or left backs, right backs, full backs, because they've got players there to cover them. And definitely eye-opening that you think that Trent isn't that much worse than Robertson at tracking back and being beaten by by an attacker.
Yeah, I had a chat with my mate the other day, and he said, if you picked a Premier League 11, it would be in it, and Trent wasn't in it because for me, I want my defenders to defend first. That's just how I am. That's how I'm built, and because I'm a bit old school. And I just can't trust Trent doing a defensive job because I never feel like he does. So if I picked a Premier League team right now, everyone was fit, I'd make Cancelo my right back because I actually trust him more defensively. But I think
not Bellerin. I'm joking.
You mean Cedric Suarez, mate?
Sorry, yes, he gets assists.
Yeah, hit a better crosser. But I think Klopp knows that, and that's why just the heat maps themselves are just showing that Trent is not being allowed to be as expressive offensively.
So
and that's affecting Salah for me. Let me finish my point. That affects Salah for me because usually what will happen is Trent will make the decoy run down the right with attacking so Salah can cut in. But now when Salah wants to do that, he doesn't actually have a decoy on the side of him and he's being affected big time, getting frustrated. I think that's why sometimes during the game that Klopp tries to put him in the centre, like make him a centre forward for a bit and let Firmino drop back. But Yeah, I think Liverpool are really struggling because not the injuries, but the injuries to the specific positions that everyone is all over the place now. So yeah, I think, but I'm looking at it more tactically rather than FPL. I'd
No,
still
but
keep Salah anyway because I think, but no, actually they're related, aren't they?
they
Because
are
for me,
related.
I ignore FDR. I look at form.
Mm.
That's the kind of player I am, especially this season. So reverting back to Salah, if he doesn't perform against Burnley, I wouldn't be completely against it because away to Tottenham, how many chances he's going to get? Away to West Ham, they look just brilliant defensively now in their system. Home to Brighton, sure, but then home to Man City, away to Leicester, home to Everton. These are not easy fixtures.
This is why
Yeah.
I'm considering not having him, because they're not easy defensive fixtures. Like the defense coming up against them without that form in place, it's not even like they're playing well, creating chances and not scoring. Like Salah will always get one or two, maybe potentially even 3 or 4 good chances because of the type of player he is. But I don't look at Salah as the type of finisher, clinical in front of goal, that other players are. I think his points rely off of a volume of chances.
Agree.
And so when they're not creating that volume for him, I start to worry. And it's almost like I think Klopp is protecting some of his players because some key players are out, that suddenly the system isn't in place anymore for the likes of Trent to perform really well. So instead of just saying, Trent can't play when Van Dijk's playing, which just clearly shows to every other manager, okay, if Van Dijk's not coming up against me, I know to target the right or the left or whichever position that is in question. He's saying potentially, okay, he got, which I'm sure it happened. I'm sure he did get COVID if Klopp said he did, but potentially he's protecting his player by not showing his defensive fragility just by outright speaking it instead of them spotting it themselves as the opposition. So I feel like potentially maybe Klopp is protecting Trent by saying all of this until we get to a point where they have their players back and Trent can be playing the same way he played before.
Yeah, I mean they're not doing the vicious gegenpress anymore like they were last season. It's against Man U they did it for like 10-15 minutes, but usually it's like 30, 35, 40 minutes they press. Like last season, get the goals, and then defensively they're so brilliant at the back that they can kind of sit on it. But now I feel this season Klopp has had to change it a bit just based on like we mentioned earlier, the personnel. Firmino is not the breaker anymore. Thiago's come into the team and kind of changed the dynamics in a positive way, in my opinion, because his ball retention is incredible. But the biggest one, obviously, is Van Dijk and Gomez. If one of them was injured and he had the other one, he could still play the same style. But with Fabinho at the back now, with Matip, who I'm a big fan of, but he's just not fit, I think they're desperate to get someone like Upamecano, someone who has the athleticism and the defensive ability. And I'm shocked that they're not going for him, because I think 50, 60 million would get someone like Upamecano, or even Koulibaly maybe, who's a bit older, but could probably do another 3-4 years. If Liverpool don't buy a defender, I don't think they'll win the league. I'll straight up say that Man City will win it, in my opinion.
Do you think financially they've just given up because of the way this season has gone and the way, I don't know the exact finances behind any club, but this whole pandemic has affected every single club in any league.
Yeah.
Do you think they've just thought, you know what, financially it's not the best for us to go and get an Upamecano? Financially, it might be just better for us to go, you know what, we might not win this season. We still might, because this season's so up in the air.
And
So let's
everyone's in the same boat.
let's just see what happens this season and then attack next season. And I asked that with my wife calling me, so feel free to answer, but I will disappear for a second.
What are your thoughts on that, Brett?
I think, do you think there's a possibility that there's like a bit of discomfort to spend lots of money in this window, having, only 6 months ago had to let staff go, this kind of thing, Do you think that plays a part in like clubs maybe not wanting to spend as much in this window?
100%, because they're not getting the income, are they? From stadiums and stuff. I mean, I think Arsenal makes something like $1.5 million per match day, Brett, on merchandise and tickets. So yeah, I think so.
I think yeah. In addition to the financial burden, I think maybe there's a bit of discomfort to, to spend this money on players when, like, staff have lost jobs, that kind of thing as well. So it's a bit of an uncomfortable time to spend millions of pounds. I think, both financially, obviously, and maybe morally as well, ethically.
Unless they're able to sell, obviously, isn't it? And I don't think they're looking to sell anyone, are they? Because they don't have a massive squad.
No.
Liverpool. So, yeah. Kurt, what are your thoughts, mate?
Not really too much I can say that hasn't been covered, to be honest. Similar sort of thing. I mean, there's a loss of revenue, and also you got to think that if they do make a signing that's a big money signing that potentially breaks the bank, and A, doesn't perform, B, it doesn't result in the club getting where they want to with that transfer, and C, the repercussions of it the following season cause them to lose a lot more money elsewhere and have to make other cuts elsewhere, it could hurt the club more. You look at the case of somewhere like Burnley that effectively just saying, look, at one point, look, just take our players. We need to get the revenue in from selling our players. Just take them. But you never know unless you're the accountant of one of these clubs.
Yeah.
How did we get to Burnley? I'll just come back and know Burnley.
Buying and selling.
Okay.
Or selling and selling.
It is really weird how this will all affect every single club. I think there will be a lot of clubs that come out of it okay, and they'll start spending as soon as it's all over. But if you think about it, I think Ligue 1 or Liga Uber Eats, whatever it's called now, from what I've heard, is that is a selling market right now. If you want any good players, look at the French league, because they need to sell their players to stay financially viable. So it is definitely a different dynamic to the whole European leagues, that so many clubs will now have to think about selling players that they wouldn't have sold beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which...
and also Brett made a really good point about, teams just not wanting to buy at the moment because there's no way of getting that nugget back, isn't it? Because they don't have the fans coming in, they don't have obviously the merchandise sales are nowhere as high, but also probably most importantly is ethically, so much staff being let go and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It could possibly be, I don't want to say a scratch season, but it could be like, listen guys, it's about the start of Football Manager. No one can buy anyone. That's what it feels like.
To be honest, I played the season on New Football Manager, and the clubs don't have any money, so I'm like, it's pretty much starting as don't buy anyone anyway.
I've been doing that in my Arsenal career. I haven't bought anyone.
Yes, I just started an Arsenal career. Just they don't have any money.
Top team.
Good youngsters, to be fair to them, but there's no money to buy anyone in.
Yeah, tell you what though, looking at the league table, like we're halfway now, 19 games in for obviously a few teams with games in hand, but we're halfway into the season and like this is anyone's at the moment. I know Man City are probably the favourites, got a game in hand and they've got the bigger squad. And obviously Liverpool are struggling, but like it's quite an exciting division at the moment. Like Everton are 8 points off the top with 2 games in hand. Like it's mad. They're in 6th at the moment. Spurs have got a game in hand. They're only 7 points off the top. United are top on 40. Yeah, it should be really exciting.
Shout out to my dad. Hopefully it's another Leicester title win, because he supports Leicester.
Yeah,
and they're suddenly they'll come back into form. Like I was worried they were going to drop off, but they're now suddenly.
Brilliant segue, because I sat down and kind of looked at their squad, and they pretty much have 2 decent players per position. You take out Barnes or Maddison, you got Under and Perez, who could do a job. If Vardy can't play, Iheanacho can do a job. The only place that they're probably slightly weak is that if any of the centre midfielders really got injured, you're kind of relying on Chowdhury, Mendy, and Pratt. And I'm unsure if they can really stick to it when the going really gets tough. But otherwise, they mostly play their second team in the Europa anyway. If they keep their head in it, unlike last season where they
dropped off
big time. I think they only got 2 wins out of 17 or something stupid like that. Then I think Leicester should really finish in the Champions League positions.
I think Ndidi's a massive part of that as well. I just think
maybe the best CDM in the league now.
There's a certain calibre of player that I think every club needs. I've said it before, but if you look at Man City's dominant seasons with Fernandinho, you look at Leicester and Chelsea with Ndidi, there's just that calibre of player that can play in that, just can play in that position and win the ball back consistently, which then allows them to attack quickly because they've won the ball in a position that isn't the defenders. That I think if you have a good player in that position, then you can win the league. And I still think tactically, in current football, without tactics changing and the likes of, say, Bielsa with different styles of play, tactically that is the most important position in any team. And I think if you get a good player in that position, you can win the league.
Fully agree. I mean, when we signed Partey, it was pretty much for that, to break up and then distribute the ball quickly. And against Newcastle, when he was playing, you could tell that straight away. The amount of attacks we got from him breaking the ball, but not only, like you said, intercepting the ball, but then transition it so fast into attack, it just completely gets the opposition off balance because they're like, oh, wow, we better be on our toes now. So I fully agree.
Exactly.
Fabinho was doing that brilliantly as well, and I completely agree with you. Completely. I think it's a position which isn't respected enough because I think everyone wants to do the whole expansive stuff and, let's play glorious football. Like, I'm a huge fan of Bielsa, but he's mad. They're going to lose 21 games.
Unless you have the top players in the league, you're going to lose games.
Exactly, but that position is just invaluable. And for me, I think football becomes, some of these managers complicate the game a bit too much for me. But if you have your simple spine, then that position absolutely is one of the key components of the spine of your team. So yeah. And indeed, he might possibly be the best CDM in the league now because I think Kante's gone off it a little bit.
I also think he's not put in. They don't play around. They don't build that formation at Chelsea around Kante. They don't go, Kante, you can do what you can do, and let's put the players in around you. Because I think Chelsea have the players to put in around Kante that would build a good side that could win the league. But I think they're too busy trying to fit in certain pieces. And don't get me wrong, business-wise, it might be best to get the best out of Havertz, to get the best out of Werner, to get the best out of Ziyech, not so much, because I don't think he really got much sell-on value there. But they brought in a lot of new players, young players, that are meant to be future world beaters. And I think they're trying to figure out how to fit them all in. And then you've got the likes of Mason Mount, who is actually performing better than all of them at the moment. And I just don't think they're thinking about the team. I think they're thinking about fitting in the financial pieces that they've invested money in, which I think is Chelsea's issue because they spent so much money because they couldn't the season before.
Yeah, and I think a big thing is it's not very exciting, is it, to think about? You have all this money coming in and it's like, listen, make sure you have your spine of some sort. It's like, yeah, but if I'm Lampard, I'm like, I've never spent money before. I've spent 200 million. I want to make a hugely expansive, exciting team. And it showed in the central and midfield yesterday when I saw Kovacic, Mount and Havertz in the middle. I was like, oh my God, there's no midfield here. It's just going to be emptied out. And the amount of times Leicester had the freedom of the middle of the park to start moves was just incredible for me. It was just insane. It was something I used to complain about Arsenal. We never had a CDM. So it was like, you attack, we attack, you attack, we attack under Wenger. in his final 4 or 5 years at the club. And I feel Lampard's doing the same. And for me, it's a ticking time bomb. Pretty soon he's going to be let go because of self-inflicted decisions for me. Not because he didn't have the players, not because he didn't have the guys who'd follow instructions. He just makes 7-8 changes per game, and usually it's a change of system. So, yeah. Brett, what are your thoughts, mate? I'm sure you're taking notes.
I was going to say, we're turning into another Arsenal Fan TV. We did this on Twitch last time we watched the game.
Yeah, but it's more constructive.
No,
Yeah, Arsenal are now informed, so we can actually talk about their players. And
That's why Kurt's been quiet, because he can't listen too much.
I have not listened to the last 15 minutes. I have no idea what you're talking about. I heard Arsenal and I zoned out.
You like Football
Fair enough,
Manager, Kurt.
Arsenal.
This is tactics as well. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
This is also Arsenal. This is also Arsenal.
Just putting it out there. If we ever get enough time, Kurt, me, and Ray should do a Football Manager set.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
More Arsenal.
You can be West Ham if you really want, Kurt.
Why out of interest, why did you not include me in that?
Okay, because I know Ray is quite into Football Manager because of his tweets.
Okay.
Me and Kurt both used to put YouTube videos about Football Manager up. So that's the only reason I didn't include you.
Okay.
But do you play Football Manager like that?
Of course, mate. Of course.
Oh, well, there we go. An extra Wildcat video every week.
The problem
Just
with
once a
me,
week.
mate, with Football Manager, I basically had to stop playing Football Manager because once I start a game, I cannot go to sleep. Like I'll play for a week straight. So it becomes such an addiction that I have to choose not to play a Football Manager because once I start, I can play a season in a day, basically. And I'll go to bed at 2, get up at 7, play again, play a whole season. I play for a week straight, and when I was with my girlfriend like a few years ago, like bloody hell, I just wouldn't talk to her. I was on this game all the time.
Okay.
And then
I still talk to my wife every now and again. I'd play 2 hours and then go check on her and then carry on.
Babe, is dinner ready? No.
Honestly, I would be so obsessed with it. I started a new save. I started a new save during lockdown. I started a county game, Newport County. And then I moved on to, I downloaded a Serie D save, Serie D in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I downloaded it from like FM Base or whatever it's called. And I played 3 seasons of that, right, as this Serie D team. And it took me 3 seasons to go up to Serie C, right? So, with this Italian team, you're on with players like on no contracts, just pay as you play, 250 quid or whatever, 250 euros, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Anyway, finally finish first. And it turns out that the save that I downloaded, the game setup that someone made, hadn't done the rules correctly. So it was impossible to get promoted. And I didn't check this until I had played for 3 seasons and sweated so much. And basically it was what I could, I finally won the league. And there was no promotion, no playoffs. I think in my second season, I finished like 2nd or 3rd. I thought, okay, I'll get that. And the playoffs didn't work. And I was like, oh, maybe I have to win the league to go up. Okay, I'll play another season. Won the division after the 3rd season. And then it was all a waste of time, And I spoke to the guys on the base. I said, oh, no, download this file instead. And I thought, I can't play it again now. And when I play FM, I always stay with the same club, always. And I love getting the young regens in and, growing their careers and
put their nicknames in.
Yeah, and I get so attached to that team and those players. And when I tried to start again, I thought I'll start again. I get the same players in, but it just wasn't the same.
No, I struggle with the exact same. Whenever I try, I could literally do a season with 5 or 6 seasons with a team. Think, okay, I've done everything I can with this team now, and think, okay, I should try with another team and apply for other jobs, get the other jobs. And then I get the other jobs, and I'm not bothered anymore. I don't care anymore. I want to be in charge of that team I was in charge of. Yeah. So no, I completely get that. But yeah, I'm fully aware of a few people, content creators, who came into that same issue when they did saves with certain teams, and the database they'd got, once they'd got the promotion to a certain league or got to a certain point, it didn't work anymore because it hadn't been set properly.
Yeah.
So I feel the pain.
The league rules weren't set up properly.
And I think Serie A the Italian league in general is it is quite hard for them to get right.
Yeah, especially in
Because they don't have
Serie
the
D.
licensing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely play it, mate. But I make a conscious decision not to these days, because once I start, especially with the YouTube channel and FPL making videos, I could just get lost in FM for weeks and just do nothing else, and I'd lose sleep, because I'm playing it all the time and don't eat properly. I get so wrapped up in it, it's mental. So yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah,
Cool.
tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow,
So yeah, tomorrow get
Put
it
on-
sorted.
Put it on the FPL TV YouTube channel. I'll be there.
Football Manager sponsor. FPL TV and mates.
Tweet Miles
that.
Miles Jacobson. Just say, look, fancy playing Football Manager on my YouTube channel.
I'll be honest, Brett, you make a really good point. I have a pretty obsessive addiction with games as well, and that's why I only play sports games.
Yeah.
Because huge God of War fan. I love all of them and got all of them. And I don't have a PS now, I have an Xbox, so it doesn't have it. But I remember I got God of War 3, and this is before the kids. I'd come home, play it, eat dinner, play it. And my missus like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah. I'll come to bed soon." The next morning.
Yeah.
And I completed it, and I literally looked at it and I said, "I'm never gonna do this again." So with all these great games like, Zelda and the other ones coming out, I just have to stay away because I know how I am. And the good thing about Football Manager is I'll go hardcore on it for like a couple of weeks. Not as hardcore, but easy to complete 6, 7, 8 seasons. And with me, I'll either stick to Arsenal, and then if I want to do another team, I make a new save just in case I want to go back to Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm bored now. I can get off it. And if I'm playing FIFA, after an hour, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Or Mario Kart, huge Mario Kart fan. I'm like, yeah, after an hour, it's all done. But if I play these other kind of games, which are incredible, like Spider-Man and all this, I'll be gone. It's just...
Don't talk to my missus about FIFA.
Forget about your kids. Forget about your kids. Daddy's busy.
Anyway, seeing as we're not talking about FPL anymore, I think I'll call it there. But to be fair, we didn't lose any viewers while we talked about gaming. Just putting it out there.
Learning about us.
But anyway, thank you so much for Ray for joining us at half time. And of course, we've had Brett and Kurt, the usual suspects. Hopefully Nim will be back soon, but if she's not, I'm sure us three will still be here to entertain you, hopefully, with our good game week scores from Brett and then me and Kurt joining along. And if you have enjoyed the stream, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Check us out on Twitter to know when our next stream is, and we will catch you guys later. See ya.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
done it.